And that should fix it. Yes, it does. Okay, so. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Android App Addicts, episode 607. This is the Android podcast all about apps, hardware, ecosystems, and we try to focus a little bit more on security and privacy than the average podcast is the way I'm going to put it. This podcast is brought to you by Corey Kirby. I want to say thank you very much, Corey Kirby, for all the Patreon support you gave us. This show and this network. And if you want to make sure you listen and see this podcast in completely ad-free ecosystems, then you have to make sure you go to patreon.com/Android App Addicts. Tonight is a special night because we're close to a birthday. And I will say, hey, Ivor, how are you doing?
Hey, turning the big 5-5 on the 23rd of February. It's the big day it's happening. And of course, I have happy birthday to my twin brother Eric as well, who's now in the chat.
Very cool. But, you don't look a day over 60.
Yeah, thanks. No, I spent recently 3 days camping in a little place called Waipatiki in a tent with the family for 3 days and froze my nose off. And then came home and spent another week down in Christchurch with my daughter, Charlotte, who's just settling into her second year of engineering at the University of Canterbury.
Very
so
cool.
I was helping her with moving into a flat.
Engineer is very cool. We always need more engineers is what I'll say.
Yeah, she loves it.
Very cool. We're also being joined by Josh in Canduadia. How's everything going there, Josh?
It's cold, Door. It's not, Vancouver Island is kind of the Florida of Canada, so it only gets down to about -5 in the winter.
Oh.
But all the old people come to retire here, and it's been snowing. Hasn't snowed today. I don't know if it snowed yesterday, but we got probably maybe a bit over a foot of snow.
That's enough, yeah.
In a couple days. So we did some sledding and waved to people that were in the ditch because they slid around corners. The Canadian way. You got to be polite. Other than that, going to Vancouver tomorrow for the night. And yeah, just plugging along in the winter, trying to work on compost, trying to figure out how to make compost in -degree weather.
Yeah, because you need that temperature to hit the right spot.
Yeah, and then just trying to get the ratios of greens and browns right, because you need more superfoods for the compost in the winter to get that heat up.
Right. So. Yeah, that's all about numbers, ratios.
Oh man, the chat, Door. Well, if you're listening to this, come out to the chat. I need some defense. Somebody come to my. I need a knight in shining armor.
Eric came out to the chat a long time ago.
Did he ever leave?
No.
He came out of that closet and straight into the chat.
Wow. Alrighty.
So on that note, speaking of that, Door, how are you doing?
Oh man. I'm tired. You know what I mean? Old, but not as old as some of us. Just counting down. I want to say it's now 20 months till I can retire from my 9 to 5 and then do something I actually want to do and like to do. At least that's what I keep telling myself. Except for that, just, plugging through, getting by, making sure everyone is happy and cooking. Lots of cooking.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah,
and
some.
Sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say we had some guests over last night. Some friends from Jasper cooked up a couple salmon.
I don't believe it. You have friends?
Oh, they're not my friends.
No, okay.
They just show up for food. But
your wife's friends.
That's right. We ordered a pig. So we got a whole pig coming probably in the next week. And so we had to clear out some freezer space. And we had pork hocks from the last pig we had. I just looked up, so all right, what do you do with these things? So I threw them in a slow cooker yesterday for about 10 hours with some vegetables. That came out pretty good.
Gotcha. Well, I know like the size of a cow is ridiculous, and I know pigs can easily get like 600 pounds. So I really hope you have room for it because, yeah, that's a lot.
We got
Well,
quite a bit of freezer space. We need more. We need another cow too because we're out of beef.
well,
Mm,
we had a sheep for a Christmas dinner. We had one of our sheep. He got foot rot, so we had to kill him, and got him processed into chunks of meat, and he was delicious. He was a 6-year-old wether, an old ram, and he was absolutely delicious. He was so full of fat, and he'd been grass fed all his life, and he hadn't actually done a lot of exercise, and a bit like me, really. But chuck me on the barbecue, I think I'll be delicious.
So did somebody come there or did you? How did you
Oh,
process
we had to take him down to this guy about 30 kilometers away, and this old fella, he's about in his late 70s, complained and took one look at the sheep and said it's a waste of time, blah blah blah, and came back to pick him up, and he was wrapping up chops with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. Yeah, but the meat
What
was delicious, absolutely delicious. So
did you
I
eat
can
the whole
thoroughly
thing?
recommend it. Oh yeah, oh nearly nearly eaten the whole thing. Yeah,
Nice.
but had him for Christmas dinner, and yeah, it was just lovely.
gotcha, gotcha. Well, I will say we have a weird drop. Android, the next version, typically isn't even announced until I want to say late February or March, and for some reason it was announced early this year. At the same time, the other news related thing I saw was basically Google giving the entire like Pixel team is what I thought it said, the opportunity to retire or quit or leave. Um, so there's been some speculation that the we had the Nexus devices and they went away. We have the Pixel devices. Some people are suggesting that they're getting ready to turn over a new leaf and get rid of the Pixel devices and move on to, I don't know, some other standard thing that they want to show people. So that's I'll say that's weird. Um, I like it when companies are more transparent instead of less transparent. So um, I don't know what they could be doing next, is what I'll say.
Maybe they're
What
going
are
to be
you running,
running
Door?
Harmony OS.
Right. I'm still running I think it's a Pixel 6a, crack like right down the middle of the screen. So I'm just like holding on to it just to save money until I can actually sit down and figure out what to buy next. But I will say the options to me they keep getting better. Sub like $300. Um,
Hmm.
but I just keep like holding out and waiting because the best time to buy a phone is tomorrow.
You're not going for foldable?
I'm not going to say no because some of them did come down in price, but I can't say yes because they seem a little bit more than they should be, in my opinion.
Hmm. Okay. Oh, just wondering when one of us is going to get a Pixel foldable or a foldable phone.
Oh, well, if I do, I guarantee it's not going to be a Pixel. The Everybody else seems to be getting rave reviews, including the OnePlus
The
and the
OnePlus, yeah.
Huawei. Where the people with the Pixel, I think maybe because they're snobby, stuck up journalist people, they can't stop complaining about anything because I think they think complaining makes headlines and makes clicks. Maybe I don't know.
Does it? Yeah.
I don't
Perhaps
know.
that's what we should do. Start complaining about things because we don't normally complain.
Right. But I will say there's been at least two or three devices that at least caught my eye. Um, Here's one I'm going to put in the notes in the chat. It's called the Furry Labs, and I'm sorry, but the very first time I saw that, I kept thinking I'm not a
Don't Google it.
furry. Yeah, I'm not a furry. I mean, maybe my youngest son might be, but not me. Um, so this phone would not be for me. And then I look at it, and it's spelled FURY, and it's Furry Labs, and it says it is the one of the. Of course, they all say that they're the first, but it says it is a Linux phone, completely based off of Debian to start with, using GNOME, which all of the successful ones I've seen are using GNOME as the interface for it. Um, this is a little bit different in the sense of it sounds like every time you install an app, it literally installs it inside of its own container, which I do think, if it's done right, could mean a lot more security, a lot more privacy. Because you got to remember, when containers were first made in BSD, they were called jails. Um, and I like the idea of having my application in a jail. I don't know about you guys.
Isn't
Yeah.
that same
Sorry,
thing
you
that
go, Josh.
same thing that graphene does?
Don't know.
Yeah, I think it's similar where they just have their own little space to hang out in.
And I will say, in this phone, it does give you the opportunity to, by default, basically load different app stores. So you can literally like pick which store you want to install something from. This will not play anything Google that requires Google Play services. And there was something else that was having a problem running. They said, I can't remember what it was. Hmm.
$550. That must be US.
Yeah, and it didn't seem quite affordable yet, is what I'll say.
The specs weren't bad. I had a look at the review on the register about it, and they were quite impressed. It's a fairly solid phone with decent specs,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
nothing special.
right. All the videos I saw, I mean, it seemed smooth. It seemed like stuff worked. But yeah, you're definitely, if you're a normal user, you're definitely going to hit roadblocks that might be like, the end of the road kind of thing. Um, but it's, to me, this is just like the original Chromebooks back in the day. If you go into it with the right expectations, maybe it could be a good experience. But for $500, I'm not going to know anytime soon.
Yeah, do
Yeah,
they? It says they're using a furry OS, or maybe it's Fury. Maybe that sounds a lot
Mm,
cooler.
yeah, it does.
Fury OS. Do they? Do you know if the operating system is available to put on other devices, or is it only if you buy this phone that you can get it?
This was the one I'm not sure about. There was a second one I posted where you could download the OS. With this one, I don't think I ever got that far.
I think the problem is that everything is so easy now. It kind of almost started off easy to where you do have Google or iPhones. And so, like you said, there's, any little speed bump, and people are going to give up a lot of the times. Like, oh, I can't use that app because it uses Google Play services. And then that just kills it. People are spoiled.
I, I I absolutely agree. People are spoiled, and I'll add, they're not only spoiled, but something can't be as good as something else. It has to be like 10 times better, or else people pay it no mind.
Yeah, let alone worse. Like that's the problem is that these are a lot of people would consider it worse because you don't have that infrastructure of Google. You don't have your Drive tied into it or iCloud or anything like that.
calendar.
Right.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah,
Calendar.
and like people already are using like Gmail for their contacts and their calendaring, and all that stuff just comes over on an Android phone.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. I mean, I respect them. I don't understand Debian phones. I wonder if they can get an AOSP version flashed onto a phone and still do the same things. Probably even use apps a lot easier because the main reason people get a phone is to use apps, whether they're Google apps or whether they're other apps. That's fine. I would quite happy use an AOSP phone that doesn't have any Google services on it.
Right.
Doesn't have to be Debian.
I'll say one of the reasons Debian is out, and I'm going to say nearly prolific when it comes to um, being one of the first on a new hardware platform, is if you submit anything to the Debian platform, it has to be able to run on every single processor that Debian insists on supporting. And literally, it's almost like 20 different processors, 18 of them no one's ever heard of, kind of thing. But yeah, you have to make sure it runs on every single platform or else they won't take it. So by default, Debian is typically the easiest one to put on a new chipset structure or a new platform. Um, and later things come after that, but I do think what they're shooting for is basically just the absence of any Google code whatsoever. Um, I mean, I guess I understand why they do it, but I do agree if they're doing an Android AOSP, everything would be simpler, easier, is what I'll say.
Mm. Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily have to have all the Google overhead that comes with it.
Right.
But to me, it's a niche product for a niche market, and probably always will be.
Yeah. Unless something miraculous happens, yes.
Yes.
Well, miraculous or disastrous.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But Debian is also rock solid. Like Debian is the operating system or the distro that so many others are built upon,
Hmm.
like Ubuntu, which then spawns off Linux Mint that you're using and I'm using. Those are all Debian
Yeah.
based when it
No,
comes
it's a
down
great
to it.
system. But I mean, there was Sailfish, was it? There's a
Hmm.
operating system for phones came out in Norway, and Scandinavia. It's quite popular there. I think it's called Sailfish. I'm not sure, but yeah. Again, you've got like maybe 10,000 people use it at the most, which is nothing in terms of global numbers.
But that's also, I mean, you have to take that with a grain of salt because most of people in Norway drive fjords.
Whack, whack, whack. God.
Hard. I saw that door. You smirked.
Moving
I'm
right
just letting it
along.
sit there. I'm just letting it sit there. Yeah.
Hardware. You didn't ask about hardware,
Mm,
and
I got new hardware too. I forgot. Good.
you want to go first?
N- Mine is not spectacular, is what I'm gonna say. I basically upgraded the wife's um TV viewing experience. We had the um I want to say first generation Android TV Chromecast is what it used to be called. Um Basically like a little hockey puck dongle with a remote with simple buttons on it, and I upgraded her to the Google Streamer 4K version. My logic is it's more future proofing than anything else. Um and the main reason I like that app and interface is that she can do a search from the home screen on it, and it will deep search every single app that is installed. Also, deep search apps that aren't installed, but the only thing it will not deep search is Plex. So, quite literally, on the home screen, you can say, you know, Golden Girls, and it will show you where you can watch it, where you don't have to load up each app and do an individual search. Um, on at least the platforms I've seen a lot of around, you have to go into each app to do a search, and um, I think that's a real pain. So I like the fact that the Google Streamer does that, and it's a little bit bigger, and it has supposedly better Wi-Fi support, and it had a actual Ethernet port. So right next to my TV infrastructure, I have my mesh node sitting right by the TV. So I just basically plug it into that. And I did a lag test before and after, and the lag is literally like 1/6 of what it was before. So her experience now should be better, is what I'm hoping.
Yeah, cool. I've never
Nice.
had any problem streaming anything off your Plex server, which is great.
Yeah, I
What's
try.
something like that set you back door?
I want to say it was 90 or $99. For some reason, I also bought the HDMI cable. I don't know. It was like, I can go on mono price and get one for like $3. I want to say it was like $15. Uh, but it looked better in the packaging.
Well, I tell you one thing. Over the last little while, the U.S. dollar to Canadian dollar has gone nuts.
Hmm.
It was a like 63 cents or something like that, or it was $1.46 Canadian to each U.S. dollar. So
Hmm.
I don't know what the New Zealand dollar is.
It's still about half, I think. I haven't checked it lately.
I wouldn't do it.
Uh, um, so speaking of Canadian and US, so I'm switching to Starlink. I was hopefully going to have it installed before the show, but um, that's not happened. So hopefully within the next few days, maybe either this week or early next week, we'll have a new Starlink satellite connection. I get to try it out for 30 days free. But basically, it gives me an unlimited data download. It gives me a minimum speed of 100 megabits a second, which is 4 times faster than what I'm getting at the fastest I can get now.
Hmm.
And it's $60 a month cheaper. So within 8 or 9 months, it pays for itself.
Wow.
So they've done a special. I think it's only for New Zealand residents. They've done a special deal where you get I think they call it a deprioritized data rate. It's
Hmm.
guaranteed minimum of 100 megabits, but it can go up to 250. And it's $79 a month.
Wow.
Not bad.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good. The only thing I'll say, just be careful because apparently cats love laying on the dish
Yeah,
because it's a little bit warm.
yeah. I'll be putting it up on the roof.
Then you got to watch out for the goats.
Yeah, the goats are a problem. Yeah.
They ran fiber down our street in our small
Oh,
community here. They've been running fiber optics, and so then they've run it to the house as well.
Hmm.
And then I went out and looked at it, and they had it like draped on tree branches. Great, thanks. That's good.
Okay.
so you're on fiber at the moment?
No, it's not. It's not even hooked up. There's nobody. I don't know if anybody's even gonna to run it. I don't know what's happening. Like they just started running. It's probably some sort of surveillance that we all signed up for that we didn't sign up for. So it's been black surveillance vans driving around.
Yeah.
Well,
They're
well,
looking
the
for
good
you,
news
man.
is they're going to surveil even faster than ever.
Oh yeah, for sure. Zero latency surveillance. That's what we're all here for, right? The hardware that I got, which I'm not sure if we're going to keep or not,
Mm.
is a Meta Quest 3 VR headset.
Mm.
And it's running some sort of version of Android.
Hmm.
Therefore, I'm claiming it for this show. It's pretty interesting. Wow, it came with a Batman game.
Yeah.
That I've
Batman
played.
Arkham Knight.
Yeah. And I mean, I haven't played video games in years and years. And so this is just, it's pretty amazing technology. But if I play it for more than 15 minutes, I just feel like I'm going to vomit. So there's that.
Yes, my son has a set of that as well. He's sitting there waving his arms around, lunging at things
Yep. Yeah.
with a
My
mask on his
oldest.
face. I don't get
Yeah.
it.
My oldest bought that when it was still pretty new. Um, my youngest son's birthday is Valentine's Day, and he currently has the Quest 2. So he asked if he could have the Quest 3. So we literally just bought him the low end version of that because um he doesn't need 4K. So, and well, when it comes to storage, my oldest son told me it's almost useless to get the max amount of storage. Um, Even though he's a complete fan of everything, he says, there just isn't a lot of games and there's no game that, you have to get in order to experience it kind of thing. He said, but there are some pretty good games and they're not huge. So he said, it isn't like you have to constantly uninstall things just to install the next thing, even if you get the low version. So we just stuck with that one.
Yeah, that's the one that we got the 3S, I believe it
Hmm.
is. So yeah, and then but it has I think it's 256 gigs of storage. But I don't know. I was looking at the games and things, and I don't know. I'm kind of just looking for Wii tennis or maybe boxing, or like
Yep.
bash the New Zealand guy or something like bash the Kiwi games.
Yeah, games have changed so incredibly much, even in the last, like, 3, 4 years kind of thing. But um and what the idea of they keep trying to make games on that platform to try to make them unique. Um, when all it is, it's like a first person shooter thing just on that screen. I mean, so there isn't really a lot of things I think they can do incredibly different than what I could play on my normal monitor. And I get how, looking around kind of thing can feel much, much more immersive. But I can't remember the name of the thing that I suffer from where I literally only can see out of one eye at a time. So literally I can't put the damn thing even on my head for 2 minutes because it just drives me nuts.
Yeah, it's a stomach turner, and I don't know if it's maybe the higher resolution one isn't quite so bad. Maybe I don't have it on correctly. I don't know, but if you want to get sick, you put that thing on and don't even have a game in, and so you can see, you can see out. You can still find the screens or whatever, but you can see your surroundings and everything. It's just kind of like a wavy, hazy mess, and I'm actually getting sick even thinking about it. Let's move on.
You guys need to spend some time in the Navy.
Not me.
Uh,
Well then I'll mention something that should brighten at least your day, Josh. So it looks like Android 16's terminal by default will let you run graphical apps right from the command line. So quite literally, that means you can install Linux applications on your device, hopefully, and just run them from the command line. And it looks like the guys at Android Authority took full advantage of that, and they installed Doom because, of course, they installed Doom.
Why not?
Yeah. So I like
Can you
the
get Doom
idea.
on the virtual reality thing?
I don't know what you can get on that thing, man. Like I really don't. I tried a hunting game. Like I tried Duck Hunter, from Nintendo, and it's just cheesy and dumb.
What about
So
Oregon Trail?
I would do that. I would definitely get some VR dysentery.
Well, you say that, and I was looking through my library of games that I have, and it's ridiculous because I keep claiming free games. But one of the games I have on there is literally called, instead of Oregon Trail, it's Organ Trail, like human organs. Um,
Organs.
and instead of you going across there, uh, the U.S., worrying about um, diseases and hunting, you got to worry about zombies because, of course, zombies. So this is one thing I will say that I think is actually a positive thing as far as the Linux community, Android community. If we can actually get a normal Android device and install normal applications and run them, that definitely helps my personal opinion. Larger screen devices or US devices that support the USB-C display port technology of being actually useful. I mean, it might not be able to run like the latest AAA game, but quite literally, we're getting to the point where maybe you can actually use it like a mobile desktop computer, which I've been dreaming about for, a
Well, that was the
while.
idea behind the Apple version, wasn't it?
Yes, but if you're talking about the Apple headset,
Yeah. The
well,
$3,500 thing.
yeah, they just cut back production, they cut back staff.
Because nobody can afford it.
Well, because nobody wants the damn thing. Since its
Exactly.
inception, since its launch, they haven't released a single new app for it. I mean, if that's not a clear sign to me that they don't care about it, I don't know what more a user would need to know to realize, oops, I made a mistake in buying this thing.
There's
Well, it's an Apple product, so yes, the mistake is inherent in the purchase.
hey, we have Apple users in the chat. We've got nothing against them. There's anything wrong with having an Apple.
Well, they're fine. They use whatever they need to use to get whatever they need done. And the company itself, I think, is almost as disgusting as Disney, the company.
Yeah.
and I go to Disney World, so
Yeah, and I just mentioned buying a product from Meta, so I guess I should
yeah.
probably just shut up for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the wife panicked. She called me up and she thought somebody in the house was spending insane amounts of money on Facebook stuff. Like somebody in the house like got a credit card number. And you bought the damn headset last night. What do you think it was from Meta? And she's like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Apparently, they go through a fair few batteries as well. The hand sets.
yes, they do.
Yeah, they
Um,
go through about one a
and
day.
and I
If you're
will
playing
say,
Oregon Trail,
right, and I do believe, Josh, there is a way to at least lightly jailbreak it or root it to where you can do more stuff. But the use case I've heard for most of that has to do with adult type of usage.
why do you think I got it, Door?
Cause your wife told you to buy it for him.
And you got a really good deal on baby oil as well. So.
Oh,
uh, I forgot what I was gonna say. I wore.
huh.
Oh well, actually, one of the reasons we got it was for trying to do like ocular therapy.
Hmm.
There's a bunch of different ways to do eye therapy with your eyes and with different movements and things like that. And so there is an app that haven't tried yet, but you can do therapy that way.
Huh. I never heard of that, but that sounds actually awesome.
Yeah, I have an appointment. Geez, maybe next week with this. I don't know if he's an ocular therapist or what, but it's some sort of a newfangled eye strengthening, eye training, eye robot. I don't know what it is.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go to it. So I'll give you a heads up on what that was like.
You know, we'll have to see what it does.
Yeah, I'm just gonna end up looking like Spaceballs.
Hmm. Why didn't somebody tell me my ass was this big? Sorry. I can't help but quote Spaceballs anytime somebody says it. There was a link I did drop in the our Voxer chat, and anybody can participate in the Voxer chat. Voice, video, pictures, text. We primarily stick with meme pictures and text. Um, if you want to be a member of that, all you gotta do is ask, and we can shoot you the link. Download the Voxer app, or you can run it on your desktop browser. Um, this was one of the links I put in there, and the main reason I put this link in there was because it was overwhelming to me the number of things listed on this Izzy Android. Now, I do think I learned a little bit more, and all Izzy Android is, it's basically like a more pleasing, in air quote, they say, graphical front end to F Droid. Um, and this was like a page basically just summarizing the different types of keyboards and input methods that are available on F Droid. And it was kind of overwhelming. The sheer, I mean, I knew there was a lot of them. And I know there's those like weird off ones that look instead of like a keyboard, like almost like joysticks kind of thing. So I'll ask, we were in the search of, you know, not using Google keyboard, but more of a keyboard that doesn't have to connect to the internet kind of thing. And I was wondering if you guys had any more success.
Nope, they're all garbage.
Oh,
Uh,
great. Let's move on.
yeah. No, I mean yeah, I like the swiping, and it's I don't know. They're the only thing you could swipe with them is your butt, maybe for as toilet paper.
Yeah, I am hooked on swipe typing. Um, and like when I see my nephew sitting there with his iPhone and his thumbs keep lifting off the screen, I'm like, oh God, that's so antiquated. I can't do that. And the real reason I can't, because truthfully, when I swipe type, I don't have to be as accurate in my spelling, and it suggests the right thing for me because my spelling is like a fourth grader, to be honest. It's bad. like when I type something out that's more than like a sentence long and the red squigglies don't appear, I'm thinking there's something wrong with this computer. I got to
Yeah,
copy this and put it someplace else.
this app's broken.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I'm going to keep trying to play with them. The one that I thought, well, one of us mentioned was FUTO, maybe.
Futo, yeah, I use that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not great, but it's better than a lot of other ones that are out there. If you know what I mean.
Gotcha.
I'm still struggling with it.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I'm even. I think I'm using any key or any keyboard or some such nonsense.
Gotcha. I'll say the one in the past that I actually liked using was Hacker Keyboard, and the only reason was that was a keyboard that actually had like a control key on it. So quite literally, to when you wanted to copy paste, you could literally hit, hold down Control and hit C on the keyboard. I thought that was much more natural for me to use. But it's also much more conducive on a bigger screen than a phone. So I'm going to keep trying some of these every now and then to see if any of them meet my needs. And I know my needs are not like everyone else's needs. Um, I just need something that can semi accurately suggest things. When in doubt, I will just copy what I'm typing and put it into a search engine to see what it says the correct spelling is.
Yeah, I'm using any soft keyboard, and I mean to give it a fair. It's seems like it's a pretty powerful, or like lots of options and whatnot. Uh, but I mean, there's some of the words it picks. It'll auto correct to a word that's not even a word.
Hmm.
And then, but I haven't really, dove into it as much. Maybe there are some settings that could make it easier. But the thing is, without play services, there isn't really um, a swipe library, or
Mm.
I don't know if that's what it'd be called. And so I got some hacked Gboard swipe library and then side loaded it
Hmm.
in, and so it's still not using any Google products, but it's using the swipe database or whatever it is
Right.
from Google.
Like the definitions.
Yeah, or just the word. I don't even know what it would do. Like to create those swipe words. I don't know what kind of data what it even looks like. If
Yeah.
it goes through this and through this, then it's all magic, is what it is.
I'm sure there's like lots of math involved where angles happen. They like say what is around it, give it a likelihood, and then map it to the next one. And yeah,
Some sort of
So, Dora, you're a fan of Asteroids, aren't you? The old
I
game.
hated
Speaking of old game,
no, I hated the game Asteroids because I sucked at it. Because I first played it on the Atari, where one button up was jet, down was I think your teleport, if I'm not mistaken, and then right and left would just rotate the ship. And I knew my goal was to move as little as possible. And once I had to start to move in that game, everything just fell apart for me. I don't know why. And I went back and tried to play it, and I've definitely gotten better at it. But oh man, I suck.
yeah. Well, you were talking about playing Doom on a PDF file or something before, but I just found this link, this article where Atari's come out with a limited edition wristwatch where you can play Asteroids on the watch face, which I thought was a really cool idea.
Oh,
I'll put the link in the chat.
and
Going a
and
bit
I'll
of
say
nostalgia.
right, and I'll say, dare I say, it's almost like the perfect way to do it because it makes sense. It fits there kind of thing. Because with asteroids, you're always in air quote the center of attention. So it makes sense that on a circular screen, your ship would always be right in the middle of it. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm sure the asteroid lovers out there saw that and immediately loaded it on their devices and had some fun.
You know, the game originally came out in 1979.
I was going to say late 70s. Um, Yeah,
Yeah,
Space Invaders was my game back in the day, and I don't know why, because looking at it now,
yeah, same
oh
here.
my god, it's such a tumor to play. Oh,
Yars
Tumor to
Revenge.
play. Wow.
I was a Yars Revenge guy. I don't know if you guys ever
oh,
played that.
dude, I spent like an hour last week playing it again. Um,
Really?
and but I had to. But the thing was, I hooked up my Steam Deck to my TV when the wife was not feeling well. Um, and I was showing my son some of the older games, and his mind was so confused about the mechanics behind Yard's Revenge. He just
Never
couldn't
heard
get
of
it.
this.
Oh my god, this was like one of the most okay. The
Hmm,
most
I'm
fascinating
going
thing
to
about the
Google this.
game is in
Yeah.
the middle of the screen, there's an up down thing. That up down thing basically shields you from the drone that's following you around, is what I'll call it. But the dirty secret is that area in the middle of the screen where you're protected, it's actually displaying the code of the game just to save on code. Um, yeah, that game, man, I played that game so much. I played that game and Tron Deadly Disc, I want to say, on Intellivision. Or like two of the ones where I would just sit there for hours and
Yeah.
just keep playing, keep playing, keep
Oh, yes, I remember this. Yars Revenge. Yeah, I never understood it.
playing. Well, basically, it's the opposite of Space Invaders. Instead of
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
fighting off the aliens, you're the alien that has to defeat the thing shooting at you.
Ah. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, I get it. And
Mhm.
it's got the code in the middle of the screen.
Yeah,
Cool.
I thought that was very cool.
This
Um,
guy, I was just looking at the Wikipedia, Howard Scott Warshaw,
mhm.
went on to program other high profile games based on films for the Atari 2600.
ET, baby.
Raiders of the Lost Ark and E.T.
E.T.
I know,
What a
but you got
classic
to
game, that.
I know, but you got to realize that guy was literally given like 6 weeks to make a game, and he actually did make a game. It's not a good
and
game.
then collapsed an entire ecosystem of
Well, that's what they
Yeah,
say,
but
but
how many
that really wasn't
games
true.
can say that they've had archaeologists trying to dig them out of a rubbish dump?
Right.
Like 27 years later, they're trying
Yeah,
to recover these lost games because
yeah,
they've been lost in the historical record
yeah.
and they're worth a fortune now.
The problem with and the game crash really only happened in North America. And the real reason it happened was because Atari had no ability to limit who was making games for their system. So people kept making just completely janky junk games. And the people weren't educated enough to be able to look at the cover of a game or the box of a game and tell if it was any good or not. It was
Mm.
very popular back then to not even have a picture of the game on the box. Um, Now I will say that game, ET, is almost as bad as the Indiana Jones game, but nobody mentions the Indiana Jones game. The Indiana Jones game is just as obscure and like when you pick up the game without a manual, you have no idea what you're doing. And what you really don't know is you actually need to interact with the second controller to do things in the game. Um,
Mm.
in my humble opinion, that game is easily 10 times worse than ET. Um, but I'm not going to spend a single second of my life playing either of them ever again. Because yeah, that
Not
bad.
even on an emulator.
Nope. And I do have Stella installed on my Steam Deck. Stella is basically the premier Android um, um, Atari emulator. And I love the fact that I can literally download the entire library of Atari. And I'm pretty sure it's like smaller than like 20 megs.
Mm.
Oh yeah, I bet it is. I bet it's a lot smaller.
Yeah. I will
Cool.
say Tim's asking chat. I did play Pitfall. Pitfall actually, to me, now that I look at it, really isn't too bad. Um, but I will
Pitfall's
say,
pretty fun, actually.
well, I still sucked at it, and it's because with Pitfall, it basically requires, you know, let's say patience. Every
And
now and then
time.
you gotta, yeah, every now and then you gotta stop running and then move forward. Where my goal in every video game was to never stop moving. Um, that's why I like Super Mario Brothers, I guess. Yeah,
You know, this might be an unpopular take, but I think that Frogger was severely overrated.
I can see why you say that now, but I will say it definitely took more than a couple quarters from me back in the day. That and Jungle Hunt. were like the two games I would constantly when I was bored with the other games, I would just go back to those two because they were always like a constant challenge at least. And I had a chance to get high score. You know what I mean?
Hey, my dad's in the chat now too. Look at this.
Oh, everyone's joined the
Oh
party.
wow. Yeah, I
Because
will
he
say
said Frogger being overrated.
um
And we had a 2600
right.
and with Frogger.
Yeah, there's a guy I actually subscribed to on YouTube. I didn't know for like months, but he's a he's a oh man, I don't know what the word is now. Basically, he's had all of his extremities with some kind of amputation on him. You know what I mean? He doesn't have full legs, he doesn't have full arms, but he does video game history kind of things. And he did review the history of Frogger not that long ago, and it was weird how it was on literally like the amount of platforms, easily like 20 different platforms, and it was amazing how on easily half of them he was like it completely sucked. It was slow, it was laggy, it was this, it was that, it didn't look good. Da, 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 da. And I will say on Atari, he didn't like the 2600 version of it, but I want to say he liked the 7600 version just because of the graphics.
We're still talking about Frogger?
Sure, yeah. But yeah,
I grew up
and
in a little town that had 700 people living in it.
Hmm.
We had one fish and chip store that had a Space Invaders machine and a Defender machine
oh,
and a
Defender.
pinball machine.
Defender was a quarter muncher, man. Ooh,
Oh yeah, you just throw your money at that. Yeah,
yeah.
I'd
And I
spend all my pocket
right.
money there every week.
And I do remember there was actually different versions of Space Invaders. The version I played was the kind with no joystick. It had literally a left and
Mm,
right button and a fire
yep.
button, and that was it. Um,
Did they have
and
the table version?
I didn't play the table version, but I do remember the version I played literally had the glass in front of the screen with different colors to give you the
Yeah, yeah,
illusion of full color. Yeah,
yeah.
different times, man.
Great stuff.
Yeah, but I digress.
I wonder how much
Uh,
25 cents or a 20 cents in 1980s is worth today.
Wouldn't
Like,
shock.
45 bucks.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me if it's easily like a buck or a buck 50. That's what I'll say.
yeah.
And there is still at least one arcade in Maryland I know of that will accept quarters to play an actual arcade machine. Uh, and it's in Glen Burnie, Maryland, hon. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Eric's just figured it out. $3.80. 20 cents is now $3.80.
Goodness. No wonder my mom would never give me money to play the arcade machines.
my parents paid me money to leave the house to go to there.
Yeah, I had to steal money out of her purse.
You disappeared, Dor.
Oh, I'm right here.
Uh,
I'm thinking that's a you problem, Josh.
I guess we could bring some apps.
Sure, yeah.
Why start now, Josh?
This one is, we were talking about the ocular therapy before, and this one is called Demotu, and we're still in the testing phases of it. And so my wife is a nurse practitioner and has been kind of looking to focus on functional medicine, and this is Demotu by Demotu. There's 100 plus downloads, and we're two of them. And it says no data collected, no data shared with third parties. But I don't know that I necessarily agree with that, because they are storing data. So basically what happens is you use the phone, you use your phone and you use the camera on it, and you set your camera up and then you step back so your whole body is in it, and it detects your joints. not those kind of joint store. And then it gives you movements to do, and so maybe an arms up squat or stand on one leg, or I don't know, cluck like a chicken or chase your sheep, whatever it is. And then at the end of it, it it gives you a breakdown of where the weak spots are, or it'll say like your left shoulder has this issue or is out 10 degrees, or whatever type of diagnosis that it comes up with. And then it will give you an exercise routine as to how to fix that. Like, oh, your right ankle is weak, and so it's using AI. I don't think there's any Bitcoin involved, but it's using AI, and it seems pretty powerful, pretty legit. Like I said, we're still, her and I are still kind of testing it. We had a call with somebody from Demotu, and he kind of walked us through it. And
So it films you while you're exercising and tells you where you're going wrong. Is that right?
Well, it's not while you're exercising. It's usually when you're making sweet love.
Uh-huh.
No, it's
So once a year,
it
then.
gives you.
Oh,
No, it gives you these movements to do. So like squats or different movements that um, you have to move all the parts of your body, and then it can analyze what your issues are from those movements.
can I ask what is the in-app purchase? Do you know?
Well, it's a monthly fee, and I think it's $15 for a personal, or maybe personal's free, but then if you want to have like up to 15 people on it, then I think it's $15 a month.
So it's for
And then-
Catholics. Got it.
or Mormons, come on. The but then there's also a professional level though, which I think it's unlimited. And so basically she's looking at incorporating this into her practice possibly, or that's what it is for. And then like even you guys, if you download this app and she's using, or whoever has the professional version, you can download this app, do the diagnosis or the evaluation part of it, and it will send her your results,
Oh, wow.
or your practitioner, whomever it is.
That's smart.
And then they can work on some sort of regiment to help you work on the parts of your body that are failing, or just aren't as strong, or are causing you to limp, or your back to ache, or whatever your ailment is.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a really good idea to me. Um, especially because, doctors' times are so, dare I say, costly, precious, whatever. Um, especially when it comes to physical therapy, because at least here, they're not typically completely covered by insurance. So you don't want to go there too much, too often, or for too long because, out of pocket money. So I love the idea that you can take the phone, set it up, and do your movement, and then have them analyze it when they have time. And it's really smart of them to let the doctor or the institution buy the pro version and the clients get free use of it. That's beyond really
Yeah,
smart.
exactly. And it's not when they get the time. Well, are you talking about the person that's evaluating it?
Well,
Because it's all done by AI. The initial, all the initial data is collected, and you can watch the video if you want, or you can just look at the data that came out.
right. But then they send it to your doctor, physician person, so they can at least see the results of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you can customize some sort of treatment plan.
Right. Yeah, very smart business move for them. I gotta say that.
Oh, Eric.
Uh,
Again, you guys, it's you got to join the chat, if, but you can't be weak of stomach.
right.
Hey, so Josh, a little while ago, you sent through a link to an application called Rethink DNS plus Firewall plus VPN. I'm putting the link in it to it in the chat.
Thank you.
Um, I tried using this, but because I already have my private DNS settings set to AdGuard, it wouldn't work. I had to take my own DNS off and then use to an open DNS and then use this one to go down back to a regular to your DNS. Explain how this thing works for me.
No idea.
No idea.
Ah,
Okay.
I don't even have an Android phone, man. Like I've been running Mac products and
Okay.
iPhones.
Well, one of the things that I would recommend every single Android user do, you guys at home, go into your settings, look up private DNS, and put in adguard.com as the private DNS, and it immediately gets rid of a whole like 98% of your ads that you'll ever see.
Can you not? You
Very good.
can't choose your DNS.
You can choose your DNS, yeah, but I'll just use AdGuard
No, on
because
this though, like you can't
yes, you can. Yeah, you
card
can.
for your DNS.
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
So I need to do
Anyway,
that. There's your answer. I've already
yeah, I think I'll do that. But there's another app that I found which does pretty similar. It's pretty similar. It's called DNS Net. I was putting the link in here as well. And I've been using that. That's basically sets a VPN, I think like Bitwarden does, and also cancels out your ads and all that sort of stuff as well. So if you're looking for something that sets your own DNS and sets your own VPN, excuse me, my dog's barking because my wife's just got home. Um, you can use the DNS net or you can use the Rethink DNS plus firewall plus VPN. I think the Rethink DNS plus firewall plus VPN has a lot more options, but I think the DNS net has is a lot simpler to use. But if you like sort of twiddling knobs and things, go for your Rethink DNS or try them both. See how you like it. But these sort of apps, I think, are becoming more and more necessary these days, if you know what I mean.
oh yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
what I mean, you're talking about mostly browser ads. If you're on your browser,
Mostly browser ads, yeah. Anything that has an ad, yeah. AdGuard will pretty much shut it down.
well, which browser do you use?
Firefox,
Because that Firefox takes away most of the
yeah,
ads too, doesn't it?
yeah. I don't see any ads at all, basically. But
Yeah.
yeah, Firefox, I think you have to enable an extension that blocks the
Mhm.
ads.
Yeah, I will say on Firefox Mobile, when you go to the extension thing, it gives you some ones that it thinks people want, like the suggested ones, and literally in the first like six of them, three of them are like uBlock Origin, Ad Block, and like something else just for ads themselves. And I will say, Firefox on mobile, just that alone with those extensions, ads go down by easily like 80%.
Yeah.
Um, and I do like the fact that whenever I see these DNS applications, they do let you select by application itself because really you might have an app that requires something to be loaded. So, you want to like disable specific DNS usage for some apps and not for others. So I like
Mm.
the fact they enable that. And it is, and I will say the one that you put in there last, DNS net, does look pretty simple. Like, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
No, no. Yeah, but I mean, as soon as I discovered that trick about putting in the ad guard into your private DNS and your settings, it just changed my life. And I'll just double check what it is. Let me
Very
just
cool. And I will say like DNS is one of those things everyone has to have. If you don't know, DNS is like phone book. If you don't have DNS stuff configured right, you're going to go look through a dirty phone book. Um, like if you use your ISP's default DNS, it's a very dirty, corrupt, nasty phone book that has a whole bunch of bad things in it. It's never maintained, it's never updated, and it very well could have very malicious things in it. What AdGuard and other people try to do is they try to curate certain domains and just not even allow you to access them. Known domains that they know are bad. Um, with that said, this is one of the things where whenever things get too popular, AdGuard might sell to somebody, let's say, less
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
dedicated is the way I'll put it. So, you know, um, I'm sure it's good for now, and I hope it's good for years to come.
That's
Yeah,
it.
correction there. So just put into the private DNS settings, putting dns.adguard.com, ADGUARD.com.
It's interesting that you brought that up, Door, about the. I mean, it's true for just about everything that they get bought up, and then whether it's malicious or not, go to crap a lot of times. I was just looking up 1.1.1.1, which is what I used before, and I think it's a similar product probably to AdGuard.
It's
And
Cloudflare, isn't it?
up in the corner of this, it says Cloud. It wasn't Cloudflare, but since I
Yeah.
used it, they have
They took it
purchased
over. Yeah.
What a company, man! Cloudflare's. I haven't looked at them in a while, but they're
Huge,
probably up everything.
huge. Yeah, literally huge is what I'll
They
say.
work fine until they don't, and then the entire world's computer systems go down.
Oh,
Literally.
absolutely.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah. So thanks for that link there, Josh. That was really good. The Rethink one. Lots of customization options. They had options to just block porn or block um, advertising or block all sorts of nasty stuff, or Bitcoin, obviously. So it wouldn't work for you.
You brought it up that time.
Right. Well, the app I'm going to bring, I'll say, in the realm of open source kind of news, it kind of got hit with a strike, is the way I'll put it. Bamboo Labs, the 3D printer I have is the A1 Mini. I want to say it was $200 on sale, completely hassle free, completely like tweak free. You don't need to know nothing, and you can easily find things to print in the app and basically just click print, and it auto bed levels. It does all kinds of things like that to make sure the print comes out as good as possible. And it just, in air quote, works. It's truly ridiculously simple to use. But they did just push down an update to the printers themselves that make it much more difficult for another application to manage the printer, thus trying to basically lock you into their ecosystem to a degree is what people are suspecting. But it's the printer I got. This app works magnificently. So for now, I guess I'm fine as long as the company doesn't go under. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I saw this as well, and because I've been looking at getting another 3D printer. Unfortunately, the Canadian dollar's tanked, but I saw that they had locked it down. So I mean, what as far as other services that you could use? I mean, the first thing I thought of was Octoprint.
Mhm.
Are there other things that this makes impossible?
well, there is more than a couple online services that you have to pay like a monthly basis, and it can remotely manage your printer so you can be anywhere you want and do exactly what you can when you're locally to it. Um, I don't use any of them. I don't really need any of them. I just wait till I come home to print things. But even with the Bamboo Labs one, you can see the activity of your printer. I can't remember now if I can start a print from outside my house, but I did have to create an account. I did have to, do that kind of thing. So there's that. But I'm not stupid. I don't have it on my network with all my other devices. I have it on its own 3D printing network, with a truly unique router that nothing else is connecting to, except for the cameras that I also don't trust.
Yeah, Red just said in the chat that he sees subscription services in Bamboo's future.
Well, I'll say, like, Gabe Newell from Steam, Valve said, um, all you got to do is make stuff easier to use, and people will pay you for it. So as long as it works, as long as it's easy, and as long as it's affordable, I might be the guy dumb enough to pay the money. Um, Convenience is a huge factor when it comes to piracy, anti-piracy, or stuff to use. Yeah. iTunes was so successful because it was actually easier to go into iTunes and buy a song for pennies versus booting up another piece of software that might not work, like Napster, to download your music.
Yeah, but if you're running your printer now and then they go to a subscription base where you can't use it unless
Oh,
you get a subscription. I
then
mean,
I guarantee you somebody will figure out how to hack the firmware and load custom stuff on it. So
yeah, still
I know, I know,
dodgy if it happens.
I know, but I mean, this printer is just so damn easy to use. I mean, it's really hard to compete with that, especially with my experience with 3D printers where, man, some of them, nonstop tweaking and fidgeting and adjusting and tuning and print failing and spaghettification of stuff, prints failing, just drove me nuts.
Would you say that it's easy enough for a Kiwi to use?
It's easy enough for anybody to use. Quite literally, you don't need to know nothing. You literally don't need
You
to
haven't met
know
many Kiwis then, have you?
because quite literally the app will only it it will people upload things and they say if what printer it is good for. And if they don't select A1 mini, you have to go through a lot of extra steps to try to get it to print on your printer. So there's that curation that goes into it that when you hit, send to printer, you're at least assured somebody else has been able to have success with this thing. And literally all you gotta do is hit print.
Well, speaking of making things easy, um, who still has a CD collection? Who has?
I'm old. I have a like suitcase size thing out there with I want to say 180 different cassette tapes in it. So
Oh, cassette tapes. Cool. Um, so do you have physical? Well, not physical, but do you have MP3 files stored on storage anywhere?
oh yeah, like 29 days worth.
MP. Oh, well, I mean actual music files, not
Yeah.
not
Mhm,
podcasts and stuff.
yeah,
So you got MP3s. Great.
mhm.
So a lot of people, I think, are now reliant on services like YouTube and Spotify to listen to music, which is great. It's fine, nothing wrong with that. But some services now have sprung up which allow you to use your Spotify or YouTube Music or other subscription music services and download a physical MP3 file onto your device, so you can listen now offline. So this is kind of different to having an offline mode in the subscription app itself. This is taking it's basically breaking the encryption on the file that gets downloaded to your device and turning it into an MP3 file. And so an app that I used to use for this, because one of the things I like to do is have uh, an option to have an MP3 file to identify the guitar chords when I'm playing a song, and run it through the Yamaha chord tracker app. But you have to have an MP3 file. You can't use a Spotify link. You can't use a YouTube music link.
Right.
So an app came out which allowed you to physically convert a Spotify link into an MP3 file, and that app was called Spotify, but rather rapidly, as you can assume, it got shut down, and now it seems to have been replaced by another app called Soundbound, which I'll just put the link in the chat here. So this is basically an app. But you can up until recently, you used to be able to just download a song from a provider without providing any user credentials. But recently, if you want it to work, the MP3 file to have DRM certification, basically saying that any other app that tries to use that same file is going to check it for DRM access, and it's going to make sure you to basically, long story short, to download a file using this app, you have to log in using your YouTube or your Spotify credentials. Um, you can still download apps without those credentials, but whether they'll work in other applications or not is another issue. Um, so if you like your anonymity because you're not really supposed to be downloading these files, you don't have to put your credentials in. But if you do, yeah, you probably find the files you do download will be a bit more versatile. There seems to be an Indian app. It's been developed by an Indian developer, and he has, I hope it's he, has a whole bunch of other Indian sort of Bollywood streaming subscription services as well. It's a little bit sketchy. The user interface is not the best, and if you're honest, you're probably better off just using Spotify or YouTube Music. But if you have another purpose to put the MP3 files that you download from this app um, into other apps or other applications, then I recommend you have a look at Soundbound if you need the physical MP3 files to download onto your device.
What are the in-app purchases?
No idea. Oh, I think. Oh, hang on. So if you want to download more than 10 songs and at once, so like if you want to download a whole album, you need to purchase a ticket or a system of tokens. So you can do that either by watching advertising or by paying directly. It's all based on the downloading option.
Yeah, it looks like on the website, the in-app purchase supplies you with what they call a sound-bound coins.
Yeah.
1 coin equals 1 download, and he's a programmer. He doesn't say equals; he says equals equals, which means exactly equals. And it says you get 10 coins when you start for free. Every day they are auto refilled back to 10 coins. So if you have used some, all 10 one day, you just wait a day, you get 10 more the next day, which I
Yeah.
personally believe is the absolute way to get people to support your app, where you don't say 10 and then you're done, because then people will hate you and want to
Yeah.
bomb your studio kind of thing, where you say,
Yeah.
here's 10, tomorrow you get 10 more.
Hmm.
That's fair, is what I'll say.
But it does playlists as well, or recommended playlists. It'll do a daily mix. It'll go into your, if you log in as Spotify, it'll give you a daily mix. If you don't log in to your Spotify account, it'll still give you a daily mix, but it'll give you a personalized daily mix if you use your Spotify account. I like it. It's you have to go through the option of setting up the complication of setting up a provider, but it will do that for you automatically. You just have to give it like 30 or 40 seconds for it to work, for those providers to set themselves up in the app itself. But after that, you're fine. It'll work. It seems to work pretty seamlessly till now.
Very cool. Yeah. The last time, look, nothing to me in music after, I don't know, 90 whatever is worth even downloading to me because I'm old. So I've had all my music I've ever needed for a long time. In fact, it's been so long. I know it's 29 days worth of audio because I remember loading it up in Winamp, and Winamp would tell you the entire length of the playlist. And I remember
Okay.
loading all of my music and saying, how long is the playlist? And it literally said 29 days.
Yeah.
I said, I think I got enough audio. Yeah, I don't think I need any more.
Don't need any more. What about you, Josh? You got some Kanye files on your server there?
Oh man, I had a bunch, and then I got clever when I was in Australia many many moons ago, and I nuked my entire computer and blasted everything. So
So you
No, no.
lost all the Kanye. Got it.
yeah, 20 years ago. No, but in the chat, there's a few comments. Tim raised his hand when you asked about the cassette or the CDs.
Mhm.
So did Jim, and he said LPs and 8 tracks. So we are we're skewing a little bit older demographic here. Mac Geek, CDs, records, DVDs, a few VHS tapes, and then yeah, Red, of course, with the CDs, cassettes, 8-track tapes, 33 and a half, 45, 78s, MP3 and MP4 and Blu-ray.
Jeez,
So
he's loaded.
So yeah, that's a good one. You can send us an email at aaa@podnuts.com or send us a voicemail at 1234 Podnuts. No, door was
7076 Podnut.
and let us know what you have for collections of music.
Well, that, and I'll throw out there really quick, talking about downloading things. We actually had two of them. I want to say suggested to us. One of them was by Greg in our Voxer chat. I can't remember where the other one came from. It might have came from Discord. One of them was called Seal, and the other one was called YTDLNIS.
DLNS, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good one, that one.
YouTube. Yeah,
Thanks,
YouTube
Greg.
download NIS. And that was one that I tried too. And I gotta say, YouTube DL, I've given money to more than a couple open source projects. Like every year, I give Audacity like $5. At least I used to. And I give like the Internet Archive, like $25 a year. I give Wikipedia like $20 a year. And whenever I find a piece of software that I really do genuinely just really appreciate the fact that it just works, I give them money. YouTube Download was one of them. It took me a while to find where to give them money, but I've been doing that now almost every year. Um, YouTube Download always just when it just works so damn smooth and easy. You put a link in, you get exactly what you want out of it, whether it's a video file, an audio file, and most of the time it even lets you pick formats. So if you want something
Mm.
smaller file size or higher quality, you can do that.
Yeah, you can do that with Pipe as well. That's another good one.
Yeah, so I definitely want to thank Greg in the chat. And in fact, now that I say that out loud, I thought he had a different one. His was called like junk garbage or something weird. I'm slow. I gotta look through my pages really quick because I have way too many um links in my queue.
Well, the second one you put out, I don't know if you said, is called Seal by Junk Food 02. That's another GitHub, and that says it's a video audio downloader for Android.
So I'm going to guess that was it because it had junk food in it.
Yeah. Yeah, during that chat, I was trying to get, and that was on Voxer. I was trying to find a video compressor, and it's amazing how difficult that was and is, and I still didn't find one. And there's several out there, but for some reason they all need Google Play services.
Ugh.
Or the one that I had, it maybe the file was too big. I was trying to compress, but I mean they all just crash whenever I was trying to use them.
Well, I'll say video encoding or just encoding is always incredibly processor specific, is the way I'll put it. And I'm sure everything is using nothing more than FFmpeg in the background because that is like the holy grail of encoding, transcoding, whatever you want to call it. So what I'm going to guess is it basically just was not made for your specific processor or completely like function on your specific processor. It's the only thing I can really think of. But yeah, I will say the other like kind of reason is, not everybody needs video encoding, crunching, transformation, however you want to put it. So I'm going to guess that's maybe why it's not as popular as it could be. I don't know. Throwing that out there.
Yeah, I guess so. It seemed. I'm trying to find the one that there's one. Yeah, okay. It's called FF Share, and I might have brought it before. And it's open source, and for some reason it just wouldn't. Here, I'll put it in here. for that particular file. It was a video that I don't even know what it was. Doesn't matter. But yeah, it just wasn't work. Yeah, Tim, I think I tried VLC as well. Are you talking about for compressing? Tim in the chat is asking. But this is FF Share, compress image, video, and audio files through FFmpeg before sharing them. And it's worked for other things. I thought that I had been using it. Um, but I think the main point of this was just to point out again a reliance on Google Play services for so many of these apps that I don't see why. They're free apps and why they require calling back to the home
Mm,
mothership.
I mean, if I had to guess, I don't want to use. I'm going to over exaggerate when I say this word. Laziness on the developers that they expect it to be there on so many devices. They just say, "Oh well, I'll just use that library. I'll just use that reference. I don't have to reinvent the wheel," kind of thing. And it makes me, instead of having to do 2,000 hours of coding, maybe 1,000. I don't know.
But how so though? Like I don't understand what.
Well, if I don't have to make a engine and I can just point my thing to them, then makes it.
But what service is it providing?
um don't know, but I'm gonna guess it has something to do with WebM, especially WebM, and let's say more closed formats, giving you that library of information, and like exactly how to handle each type of format. Because I don't know if you know this. This is one of the things I learned. Oh, man, audio and video files suck. Completely suck because the extension on the file literally means nothing. Um, the extension on the file just means what types of encapsulation is going on for the file itself. The video and the audio can be one of a myriad of different formats. The difference is like when you do like an MOV file, the MOV file contains at a very certain place in the file what each of those formats are and how to correctly decode them. So your video converter needs to not only understand each extension, each extension's description, but each way that extension can embed the different videos and audios. And then you got to remember, not only can it support 20 different video types and 20 different audio types, but the range of quality is never ending. So to be able to do all of that diagnosis and just say, let me point this to Google and it will tell me how to handle this, I'm going to guess is the way that they're doing is because I don't see any other reason why a video encoder would need any external communications whatsoever, except for decoding and understanding that information and what's the proper way to handle
Yeah, but like you said, they're using FFmpeg anyway,
it.
right? They're
Well,
probably all using.
I know, but with FFmpeg, you need to know what syntax and what things to put in after FFmpeg to get the right conversion out of it, because FFmpeg again is focusing on the extension, and then you're just describing the output. So you need to know what output is valid for those type of video and audio things. And I gotta believe that's the kind of thing that they're relying on somebody else doing. Again, shooting complete in the dark. I have no clue.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
The other option is to move it onto the PC and compress it there,
Yeah, that's
but not an ideal, is it?
not really. No.
Well,
I mean,
or you could just wait for Android 16 and then install Handbrake and try to use Handbrake from the Linux command line, which will launch a GUI app, and then your phone won't be usable for like an hour.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be for the 7-second video.
Yeah, and I say that, and I love Handbrake. It works marvelously.
wonderful.
But
Yeah.
geez, it sucks down resources and it
Yeah.
takes its sweet time. But again, it's French. That's what they do.
Yeah. Yeah, the French are good at sucking.
we can say that because they're not going to listen to an English podcast. What does the English speaking people know?
When I run Handbrake on my laptop, I've got 8 processors and a little graph on my desktop showing how much each processor is working. Turn on Handbrake, and they're all going up to 97, 98%. These 8 cores working
Yeah.
flat out.
Yeah, it's like that for just about any video encoding.
Yeah.
I have a couple different KDEN Live and OpenShot, and sometimes if I'm editing video, and it just brings everything to a screeching halt. It takes forever.
Yeah, those apps, if they don't have multi-core processing, expect anything you do to take like 10 times longer. And on your Android device, you have much less cores.
Indeed. Yes. Right. I've got one more app. So this is another one for musicians. I apologize for being a bit of a musical theme today. This app is called Musicus, Musikus, and it's a beta version. But basically, what it does is it helps you with your practice. So if you're trying to learn a musical instrument, this app will record the amount of time you practice. You can set yourself practice targets. You can record the sessions that you're doing. You can have libraries. So if you have different types of practice, so if I want to do maybe finger picking or strumming or solos or something rather, a bit of practice in each one, you can record how much practice you do in each of those categories. And it comes with an inbuilt metronome. I think it also comes with a built-in tuner for a guitar. As I said, you can record your practice sessions as well. I found it comes up with gives you analysis of all your statistics and sessions. So it tells you what you've been practicing most, what you've been practicing least, how often you practice. You can set goals to say, okay, I want to practice for at least an hour a day, and I want to do these things in that time, and it tracks whether you've achieved those goals and tells you. It's quite a nice little user interface. There are a couple of niggles, like you can't rename the file that you've saved. So it's got a recording option. It can't change the name of the file to make it make sense. But apart from that, I'm sure they'll come out with an update that will fix that. It is a beta, but I found this to be quite an impressive little app that I use every day. It helps me remember to practice every day, and helps me along with all the different things I need to practice in one day as well. Check it out if you're learning to play an instrument. Very handy.
Yeah, I'll say for it being a beta, they at least really do understand how to make interfaces that aren't like painful to look at.
Very simple and quite straightforward, not confusing at all.
Well, then me being the absolute ignoramus when it comes to musical practicing, is there something in this app that you really wish it had that they might, develop in future versions?
I just really want them to get the name changed. Perhaps an option for storing files like sheet music. So if I have a specific piece of like a PDF file I want to upload to it, I could do that. That would be good. Maybe it's an option for playing backing tracks as well. So if I want to spend some time doing some solos in a key, they could come up with pull a backing track down, or I could save a backing track to it and have that replayed later on, rather than having to. Because at the moment I have to go into YouTube and play a backing track in YouTube and then go back to the app itself and record my time. But it's good. It's quite useful and helps me practice.
Very cool. I mean, anything that helps, because I know musicians' goals are for it to not to be a chore and to just, always get better. I want to say it was, oh man, I can't remember now. It was something like lifelong, award-winning like musician. I want to say it was like a trumpet player or something, and he was like close to his death. And he was like, well, why do you practice every day? And his response was, well, I think I'm finally starting to get good. So in my opinion, in my experience, a lot of musicians are really much harder on themselves than normal people, and they always strive just to get a little bit better every single day. So it's good that you have an app that helps you with that.
Yeah. Thanks, man. That's all I got, though. My tank is now empty.
Oh, well
Solomon
then,
just started piano lessons a couple weeks ago.
Who did?
So that what's that?
Who did? You?
Oh, the kid.
yeah.
Oh, your
Solomon
kid,
did- Yeah.
Solomon. Yeah. Yep.
So it's
Cool.
yeah, it's
He's
pretty
enjoying that.
like ding 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 ding. Yeah, he does. He likes it, and I cannot help him out with any music. So it's good that
Oh,
he's learning
get
from someone else.
get used to parenthood, dude, because the kid's always going to know something you don't know, kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
But and then to me, the one thing I like about the piano is not the price because they're expensive as hell. But how it's so physical right in front of you, all of the different keys. And then it just becomes a little bit of muscle memory thing in order because when you do something right on the piano, it seems to me kind of easy to reproduce it. So that's cool. Um, but I did want to put something back in Ivor's tank. That
Oh,
sounded dirty. Um, and the only reason was
Show
Or-
title right there.
yeah, it is because one of the first things he saw was like a wristwatch. And why? Because it was a wrist phone, sorry, a wrist phone. And it was Nokia basically doesn't exist anymore. Okay, we've been through that. But the Nokia library of all the prototypes and all the things that they were thinking about developing is now available online to look at. And the URL looks like Nokia Design Archive.aalto, maybe. Um, so if you're interested on all the different things that Nokia was thinking about pursuing, this to me is honestly really fascinating to see all the different types of shapes and sizes of things that they just thought about, can we do? I don't know if you looked anywhere past that first page, Ivor, but yeah, there was definitely some interesting one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and one of the only phones that they really did put out that I really did kind of want was that slider phone that was in the Matrix.
Yeah. I mean, the front page is the image morph concept, which is basically a wrist phone. We're getting to wrist phones finally. They're getting the idea. It fits into a wheel, steering wheel as well.
I don't think I understand it. Like, what's the other? There's a ring part of it, and then
You don't need to understand it, Josh. It's a wrist phone.
I thought it was a ring. Like how about a ring phone? Literal ring phone, and then your ring could ring.
As
Could
opposed to
definitely
your
work.
ring doorbell.
Yeah, so I just found that really interesting. It's one of those
I
things
think it's a thing of beauty.
that we can see what could have been kind of thing. Where like Nokia as a company, honestly, I'm like super amazed at how they completely dropped the ball. Like BlackBerry just completely dropped the ball and let everything pass by them. I mean, it seems like only a very few companies have learned from, I'll say, IBM in the sense of learning how to not die.
Like
Okay,
an
if
Apple
Ivor
Watch,
got
but
to
cool.
bring another music app, then you know it's coming.
Bitcoin.
This is called Shake Pay, and it's buy Bitcoin Canada, and it's by Shake Pay, and it's 500,000 downloads, and it's probably the easiest way in Canada to buy Bitcoin. You still have to go through all the rigmarole of giving your driver's license and going through like, are you capable of doing this? But then you can use it, and then it has a fun gamified part where the shake is actually the shake. The shake of Shake Pay is shaking the phone every day, and then you get a certain amount of Bitcoin every day from shaking your phone, and then the longer you have a streak of days, the more you get. And so I think I'm up to like 125 sats a day, which is 12
It's about $1
cents.
million now, isn't it?
So something like that. Well, not quite yet, but it will be.
And what's the
But
price
then
now? It's about still at 100,000.
yeah, it's floating right about there, US dollars. So
Awesome.
that's it's about 140,000 Canadian. Um, but then another cool part about this app is that you can have a credit card with it, and it's a prepaid credit card. You don't have to do anything. It's part of the app. You can just say, "Hey, I want this card," and then you use that with your NPC, which doesn't work on my graphene phone because you need Google Play services in order to use Google Pay, which is or Tap Pay for anything. But then with this one, then you get Sats back as well every time you use it for a purchase. Instead of getting cash back, you get small amounts of Bitcoin back. And another cool part about it is there's a referral. Let me know if you want one, because then the two people who do it, the person that does the referral and gets it, you both get $20 if somebody puts $100 in or something, and then you get $20. And I've had a few people do it, and it's free money. So
Does this only work in Canada?
I think so. I think this is just a Canadian one. I think there's other more options probably everywhere else, but this seems to be a very popular one.
I was in
up
our
here.
mall the other day downtown, and there's a Bitcoin machine in there. I actually saw someone using it. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, no, it's I know I've seen some in some pretty random spots, like just small out of the way gas stations or little convenience stores, and there's a little Bitcoin machine. And I talked to one of the people. It's a like kind of this ice cream shop, kit shop, and I talked to the owner when I went in there, and she said, yeah, it's usually uh like these little old ladies that come in, and once a week they come in and buy Bitcoin.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I will say governments have at least grasped the understanding of how they need to track this ridiculously tough and tight because they want to be able to collect taxes on it when it accrues kind of thing and when you go to sell it. So I'm going to say that's why they want the Google Play services installed, because it's a much tighter ability to actually know intimately the person who is doing this um
Oh
and
no,
see the
that's
points.
not. I don't think that's why. With the only reason for the Google Play, this works without Google Pay. It's just the tap for the credit card. Oh no, this is all government regulated. Like they know who I am. They know how much I buy off of
Yeah.
this. This isn't buying from some guy on the street. Like this is. They definitely have this information. I mean, it's almost like a bank because you can use it to pay your bills as well. Like you can have auto deposit for your paycheck into this app. Like it's definitely, they don't need Google Play services to know to know what's going on. Just like any exchange now, like Coinbase
Right.
or anything like that, they're definitely going to know everything that you do. And they can kiss my butt with taxes. Well, I think it was Czech Republic. They just I think it's Czech.
It was Estonia.
They what's that?
Maybe Estonia.
No, I think it's Czech Republic. They have eliminated um what's it called? Capital gains taxes on Bitcoin.
Mm.
So if
Good.
you're there for a certain amount of time or you hold it for a certain amount of time, something like that, then there's no capital gains if you sell any of your Bitcoin.
I definitely like the idea of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what do you? Yeah, I don't want to get into taxes.
Well, speaking of governments, I'm going to mention an app that's not actually an Android app. So I do apologize in advance, Door. Um, this one is actually an iPhone app, But it's if there's an app that I want that's on iPhone and not on Android, this is it. It's called Inflator Cart. If you've got an iPhone, and I know there are some people in the chat who do, um, it's called Inflator Cart. It gives you the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics inflation information on U.S. grocery prices
Mm,
in your phone, so you can have a look at the price of a dozen eggs and get angry at the government.
well, no,
And
government has
then,
nothing to do with it. No,
well, I know.
it's called the bird flu.
Yeah, the bird flu.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
so
know
if you
farms up
wanted to
there
check,
about 800 miles that had to kill 10,000 chickens because the bird flu,
yeah, yeah,
which
yeah,
then
we've had the same thing
scarcity
here.
makes scarcity makes
Yeah,
prices go up.
yeah. Well, and rampant inflation doesn't help either. Anyway, so if you want to check what the prices of things are in your grocery store and you've got an iPhone, use this one. I'm sure there'll be an Android app somewhere. I just haven't been able to find it. Um, but I'm sure there'll be an Android version along quickly
I don't want an
soon.
Android person. I'm depressed enough already.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm pretty
we went
depressed
into
every
our big box store, and I typically buy 5 dozen eggs at a time.
Yep.
Now I'm sure I'm wrong. I am sure I'm wrong. I swear, early December it was like $12. It was much cheaper than buying you single dozens. I do remember that. And then we went in there this past weekend. It was $25 for 5 dozen. I said, "Well, I guess I'm going to start eating something else."
$25 for 5 dozen eggs.
Yeah, so I'm not eating eggs for the
Jeez,
foreseeable future
give my
until
left
prices
arm to
go
have
down.
that price.
Yeah, well, they're at Costco. I think that they're for 5 dozen eggs now up here is over $20,
Mm.
and they were 12, like you said.
We pay $8 for a dozen,
Mm.
$9
Didn't
for a
we have this
dozen.
conversation last time?
Yeah, I think we did.
You get a dozen eggs
There
for
we go.
50 cents or something like that.
Yeah, I knew this would be a hot topic. That's why I introduced it at the end of the show.
Oh, is this the end? I thought we were just getting started.
Well, I thought we'd get into the end.
But I can't believe you brought an iPhone app. Like, this is ridiculous.
Well, yeah.
And
Yeah, I know.
what are we doing?
Yeah.
I'm not even, if I do a rundown, I'm not even putting that in there.
Yeah, don't even mention it. Yeah.
That's
It's not really an
ridiculous.
app. It's not a proper app.
It's called pandering. You're pandering.
Okay.
You say that like it's a bad thing. Oh,
Here's this. Swift brought this one up in the chat earlier, and I don't know if you guys looked at it. It looks like another social media, maybe called Gray J, and it's a grayj.app, and
yeah,
looks like
this is a downloader app. I literally looked at this today, and I want to say it's in my links. Maybe I thought it was, but I don't see it there. Because I did download and install this. The first thing it really wants you to do is to add providers. The providers, I believe, can be audio or video, and what it allows you to do is basically, like if you put YouTube in as a provider, you can, if you log in, I believe, um, say automatically download everything I sub to every day. So then when you go to launch the video, there's no bandwidth being used. It's just locally on your device. So yeah, it allows you to go to multiple sources and download stuff in the background, and even I believe play stuff in the background as well. The only like bad thing I can say is the interface is a little bit busy, which just means it takes just a little bit more time for you to get an understanding of what's going on. But yeah, they kept referencing it to accessing your data, and I was like, what the hell is? And kept trying to understand it, and then I downloaded it. I was like, oh, okay. It basically wants to be like your Android TV, if you will, to where you can watch all your stuff in this one app.
so. It's
Does
kind
it
of
have Chromecast?
It does have Chromecast ability. Yes, I'm
Oh, cool.
99.9% sure I saw it right in the bottom of the screen.
Yeah,
I'll have to
it's
try
their
that then.
Fcast, Chromecast, and for Ivor AirPlay. So disappointing.
Yeah.
Uh,
And here's the thing.
I'm going to buy a Vision Pro soon.
Okay. The main reason I almost threw up in my mouth with this was I went to their main page and I scrolled down, scrolled down, scrolled down, and then I saw one of the biggest D bags I've ever seen in my life, and it's this New York um, PC tech that
Yeah,
swears he knows everything, and
yeah,
in
he's an idiot.
hindsight, 99% of the stuff he says he's completely wrong.
Lewis Rossman.
Yeah, and he's just a complete D bag because he's a New Yorker. Haven't met a nice one yet. And yes, my mom was from the South Bronx, and she was mean.
Okay, so it's like a curator, basically. You're just pulling in from all your different subscription services.
Mhm. Yeah, and
Okay.
it instead of having to load 4 or 5 different apps to watch what you want to watch and use your bandwidth when you're about, it will let you curate them all in one app and pre-download them. So it definitely has a use case. If I watched videos on my phone, or I guess more videos on my phone, I would definitely entertain the idea of this.
If uh, this is now, I'm just kind of going rogue. I don't know if you guys are ready to get out of here or what, but this one is. This isn't an app either, but it's at least it's not for an iPhone. Um,
I'm never going to live this down, am I?
it's just it's insane, man. Like I just don't understand what. Are you drunk?
What?
Maybe you
Must have
should
been.
be.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
sorry
must be.
I thought you were talking.
No, Doris.
Have you guys done anything with Notebook LM?
Nope.
This is a Google product, and if you want to have some fun with,
Oh, hang on. You're giving me shit for bringing bringing an iPhone app, and now you're talking about a Google product.
Android is a Google product, man. Just so you know, like at least
No,
there's like
you're talking about a bloody language model for Google.
yeah, but at
It's
least this
like,
is cool.
come on.
Um, this is pretty interesting.
Hello,
As
Pot. Have
far
you met
as,
Mrs. Kettle?
if you
Sorry,
haven't
carry on.
noticed, Ivor, I have no morals. What you do with Notebook LM, I mean, this is a powerful tool. You upload any documents that you want, and you can put as a bunch of sources in, and then it creates a language model just from the sources that you used. And then you can also create like a podcast from it, which might be better than this one we're doing. But um, and yeah, and it'll create audio, or you can have it create like test questions or a study guide or anything that you want. Like I used it, I put in a bunch of permaculture books, and then had it create a 30-minute,
Hmm.
basically a podcast from the documents that I'd put in.
Right. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. These things have incredible use cases, the way I'll put it. And what you did is almost like one of the use cases I heard that I really, really, really do support. Um, and it was a new congressman, new 2 years ago, whatever I think. And he said what he is going to do is every time he gets um, something to vote on, which is typically a stack of papers that he can't read. He doesn't have the time to read. His assistants have to read it and then summarize it for him. He said, I'm going to take every single one of them, put it into a large language model. He didn't say which one, of course, and get it to summarize it. And then I'm going to post that summarization for all my constituents to see. And to me, that is a perfect use for this kind of thing. Yeah, because I know it can take large amounts of text, and you can either give you summarizations, make tests off of it, um, uh, turn it into, like you said, an audio podcast with highlights and really awkward laughing in it. Um, but yeah, I can definitely see this being incredibly useful for that kind of thing where you're putting in your own data and saying, "Give me the summarization."
Another way that he could help with that is to have them have proposals for laws or whatever else it is and have them put it on one sheet of paper
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
there's absolutely no reason to have 1,000 pages for anything.
Hmm.
Just a pork barrel and just being able to throw kickbacks and everything else hidden inside of these things. Here you got you have to vote on this in 2 days. Here's 40,000 pages.
Yeah, that's why I just love the idea, and I like the fact that he made it very clear he's basically going to post it publicly, the um a summary, so everyone in his area will know what it is and know and understand how he voted on it. And I want to say he was from like Wisconsin or Montana, one of those, not heavily populated states,
Hmm.
or
Awesome.
like it, or like a state that isn't on fire.
Yeah.
Very cool. Honestly, I have way too many links still in my queue. So, and it is already almost past Ivor's bedtime. He has to pick up his
I'm gonna go
birthday
and
present soon.
get my birthday present soon.
Yeah.
Pretty sure he already turned into a pumpkin.
Yeah. So I'm
Ooh.
going to throw one out there quickly, just as a quick summarization. Netflix as a company hired programmers, made exclusive games for Android. And quite literally, like the day before this launched, fired basically everybody and said they're not going to do this anymore because they're not making money off of it. And it is Monument Valley 3 is the app I'm talking about. If you're at all a fan of any Monument Valley, and if you have a Netflix account, you can go in and download this for free, log in with your Netflix credentials and play the game. Yeah, people love Monument Valley, and I understand why. I'm not going to try to like diss the game itself, but it was the kind of game that it never did anything for me. I played the first one, and I literally like felt like I went through the entire game in like 20 minutes. Um, and it just I got nothing out of it. But I know it's a
It was
well loved
hugely
game.
popular when it first came out, though, wasn't it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it was more popular than that stupid bird crashing into pipes game.
Flappy Bird. Yeah.
Flappy Bird, yeah, yeah.
Well, it's visually appealing.
Oh yeah, it's very pretty graphics, and simple graphics. And what your job is basically to do is to manipulate the atmosphere so your person can walk somewhere.
Sounds
Okay.
woke.
Mhm. So yeah, that's my last app I'm going to bring.
Sounds like my house after I go to bed, about to do in the morning.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, should we do a rundown then and stop this train?
Sure,
I
yeah.
want I want to get off. Uh, the first one that we talked about is the Furry or Fury phone FLX1, and then the MetaQuest 3. We talked about Android 16 being able to run Linux terminal with GUI apps, and Izzy Android keyboards and input methods, and Atari Watch, which is already sold out, so don't bother. Demotu by Demotu, Rethink DNS Firewall VPN, DNSNet as well, and then Door got a Bamboo Handy and Soundbound Music and Songs, YTLNIS by Denise Seri on GitHub, and then Seal by Junk Food 02, FF Share, Musicus by MS Squared Apps, and then we talked about some Nokia designs that were in the pipeline, and Shake Pay by Shake Pay. Some sort of Apple iPhone app thing. And then Gray J and Notebook LM. And I think we're missing one that you brought, Ivor, that was the Indian developer.
Soundbound.
Oh, no, Soundbound. Yeah. Okay, yeah, by Shabinder Singh. Okay.
Yep.
I think that was an extensive list.
Yeah, I think you got everything there.
Monument Valley 3. Sorry, Monument Valley 3 by Netflix, however that works.
Yeah, what's up with that? Why did Netflix decide to go into producing games on Android?
Well, I mean, the short answer is, I mean, games make way more money than movies and TV shows and music. Games make insanely more now than any of that. So for them to want to try to get some bit of that juicy cash, I can't blame them. But I don't know. I mean, and I will say Netflix did have it like one or two trivia games where you load up Netflix, load the game, and it was kind of cool, but yeah, they just wanted to try to, I guess, get some attention and get some money for the games.
Okay. Netflix likes money.
Go figure. Okay. Ivor, do you have any parting words?
Oh, well, just thank you everyone for coming out. We've had a record number of people in the chat and a record number of people watching us. So we must be doing something right. Good to see you all. And thanks for coming. And hopefully we can do it all again next week as well.
Very cool. Josh?
Yes. Same thing Ivor said. Thanks everybody for coming out. I only half joking about hating Apple, and Ivor as well. So yeah, hopefully we'll get together. We'll get together soon. And happy birthday to Ivor, because it is his birthday month apparently. So we're gonna celebrate it the entire month of February.
Oh, great. Thanks,
Great.
Josh.
Very cool. If you want to, and yes, there's way too many people in the chat for me to even name them. So I'll just say thank you for everyone for coming out. Whether this is your, first time in a while or your first time, it's always good to see you guys. And the chat was quite active, but almost too active for me to follow, but I was able to follow most of it. So thank you guys for coming out. The easiest way to get in contact with us is aaa@podnutz.com. We all get the email. We are on Voxer, wasting time. Some of us are on Discord, but it's not quite as active. Still as entertaining.
Noster.
Have you set up a Noster account for AAA?
I didn't know you could set up an account for an organization thing. So I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Not yet. And I'm going to blame my attention span for not doing that. And if you want to send us a voice message, you can simply on any device just hit record and send this to us, and we will get it. Or you can simply call up 7076 Podnut on the old school POTS, plain old telephone system device, and leave us a message. So again, I'll say thank you everyone for downloading. Thank you everyone for participating. Thank you everyone for continuously showing up and reminding us why we do this kind of thing. And I thank Ivor and Josh for putting up with me. So don't forget, completely ad-free, super easy, patreon.com/Android App Addicts.
Send eggs. Send us eggs.
Oh yeah, send us lots of eggs. Thank you.
Triumph.
Take it easy.
Bye. Cheerio.
Nice. Yeah, that's funny too. You guys see that?
Nope.
Call 706 from episode 607.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll say my audio was also lower, Ivor, so I'm going to say it's Audacity doing something.
Oh, okay. We're at 6:07, aren't we? Yeah.
Yes, we are. Whew, man, eyeballs.
Now, can we stop pretending that we're friends?
Oh, we already did.
Oh, okay, good. Wow, that's a tough rouge.
And I swear,
I
I
never
think
pretended.
Oh man.
eyeballs hurt. I swear, I'm the only one I know where my eyeballs literally hurt.
Oh no, my eyes are hurting too, Door.
Okay.
I think it's called being old.
Yeah, it's been my entire life.
You've been old your whole life, Benjamin
Yeah.
Button.
My mom swore I was like a 50-year-old guy when I was like 8. You're too uptight.
Anybody in the chat have any title suggestions?
I got some.
Oh, do you? Okay, what do you got?
I got Surviving the Organ Trail, Asteroids and Hemorrhoids, Sweet Sweet Love Squats, putting something back in Ivor's tank, and Bamboo Handy Shandy. We can't use any of those.
Ivor, I'm pretty sure you missed your true calling. I'm just going to say that.
Oh, okay. Great. Make up
Yeah,
show titles.
I wrote down VR dysentery.
Yep.
A myriad of different formats. Just because Dor said myriad, and I was quite tickled about that. And then probably my favorite out of all of them is the French are good at sucking. I'm not sure if that one fits with the algos. So now you guys have something to shoot for in the chat. What do you guys read, Tim? ED, which I don't know if you guys know what that means, but I'm pretty sure you take a little blue pill to cure it. Not something necessarily that you want to be broadcasting on a live feed. But, you do you, Eric.
Some people need 2 of them. Just saying.
Oh.
Well, you did take a little blue pill, Dor.
That was an amphetamine. Or we were watching it honestly was a pretty good show called Irrational, I believe it's called. Where like a college professor goes over how people are irrational about they're rationally irrational about a lot of stuff, and it's like a mystery kind of show where you find killers and stuff. And the lady had a heart transplant, and the bad guy switched her medication out with. They kept saying amphetamine salts, and I'm like, that's what I'm on. It's called Adderall. But I guess they didn't want to say Adderall.
I wonder why they didn't call it subtractorol.
Well, it's a stimulant.
Yeah, that's true.
At least it is for normal people.
You got Adderall and subtractorol would be the depressant, I suppose.
Well, I don't need any help with that. I work for the government.
Take the buyout, Dor. Take the buyout.
I didn't get a buyout.
Ah.
I'm a state employee.
All right.
And the people I know who work for the federal government said unless you're already at like 29 years and 4 months, if you take it, you're an idiot. Because you get screwed over unless you're already that far in. Because it gives you 8 months of severance pay. So if you're 8 months away from retiring, they said it makes perfect sense. And my aunt-in-law was working for National Institute of Health for 40 years. For 40 years, she teleworked. And when I say teleworked, what I mean is remote working. She would get documents and she would basically retype the documents for doctors to be able to read them, kind of thing. And she was like, "I'm not coming into the office," and just quit. She didn't even retire. She literally just quit. Like, wow. Because she's like, yeah, I'm not putting up with that traffic. No way in hell. And I can't blame her, because DC traffic is, I mean, people like say how like LA traffic is bad, and I'm sure it is. But I mean, you're not going to see an 80-year-old woman reading a book while driving in LA, probably, where I've seen that on the DC Beltway. And the speed limit's only 55, and she was going 80. And she had a book across her steering wheel with both hands holding the book, reading the book. Wow. Yeah. But I digress.
That's what I call multitasking.
I call it suicidal.
Hmm.
So I guess when I went to the intro screen, everyone thought I was going to end the stream because most people now left. Now we only have 3 people in the chat.
Or they might have just left because we suck. I mean, that's always a
They had plenty of
possibility.
time. They had plenty of time to do that.
They haven't
early.
figured that out yet.
Ow. I had to get it back.
What I meant to say was, love you guys.
All right. Yeah. On that note, I better get going. Go and get my new guitar.
Dude, I want more
hello to
pictures
the
of
wife.
that thing, because that thing was beautiful.
It was, wasn't it? Oh, it's
Yeah.
lovely.
What?
It'll probably be a disappointment, but
How many guitars do you have?
this will be my 4th.
So it's kind of
My
like
wife just-
tattoos.
No, it's
Yeah,
like
kind of like tattoos. Yeah, yeah. I don't have any tattoos. I just have guitars instead.
Kind of like me and keyboards.
Yeah. Me and
guitars with a new
Android
phone,
phones.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so boring, though. You need to get multicolored ones. You got a bright pink one or something.
There.
They're all black.
Stop
Easy,
racist.
buddy. Yeah. What the hell, man?
There.
What's wrong with the white keyboard?
Called the honky board.
The honky board.
And then I have my RGB keyboard in front of me. And yeah.
I have one of those Logitech. I can't remember what it's called, but it's the you just showed one.
Mhm.
I can't find the dongle for it.
The K400 or
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm. Well, see, that was one of the reasons why I got the newer version of it, because this one has a dongle, but it also has 3 different Bluetooth channels. So even if you lose the dongle, it's still technically usable. I will say, it is possible to pair one with a different dongle. It's just a little bit of work, and there is a secret button combination. I can't remember what it is. It's something like
Up, down.
no. Which was it is literally something like you hold down control, you hit K 10 times, and then hit like another key or something, and it basically resets the device and puts it into a pairing mode to be paired with a different dongle.
Ah,
It was difficult for me to find that out too. It took a while.
it's because you
Yeah,
didn't use Notebook LM.
Because I had Sonar installed on my desktop, and what Sonar does, Solar, SOLAAR. What it does is it actually has the ability to upgrade the firmware on wireless devices, where normally you would have to load the Logitech app in Windows and get an update from them to update the firmware, where this does it without that software. Because there's no such thing as secure Bluetooth. I'm finding out. There's really only one keyboard manufacturer in the world that made one keyboard that actually does actual encryption over Bluetooth for its keyboards, and it was literally like a $250 Razer keyboard. With everything else just simple Xorgs, all the keys, to where you just get 2 minutes worth of keys and you can easily figure out what's what. Yeah, a guy in DoD told me that, and I didn't believe him. So I looked it up, and I was disappointed. Okay. Yeah, more pictures of that would be nice. Ivor.
Yeah, we'll do. It's a great little guitar, that. I'm looking forward to getting it.
We'll call you the guitar too, Ivor, because
Ivor the guitar.
was picking me
Everybody was picking on me.
on the guitar.
Plucking my last nerve.
I feel shredded.
Hmm.
My nerves
Yeah.
are shredded.
Whammy bar. Yeah, but whammy?
Scale of 1 to 10.
You're reverberating.
I'm highly strung.
Oh, that was too easy.
Don't fret.
Don't fret.
You're being plucky.
I'm just gonna tune you. I'm just gonna tune you out.
There you go. Did you see the Linux powered keyboard at CES, Josh?
No,
Okay.
I didn't make it this year.
A ergonomical keyboard, right, with the two separate pieces of the keyboard, but
Yeah.
with simple hand movements, it will then, like Wolverine claws, retract the keyboard and put out a touchpad in front of you, and then
Whoa.
the other hand movement, it will put like the keyboard back out. That is the dorkiest damn
What?
thing I ever saw, but it looked cool.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around this. What you do a keyboard shortcut and it comes out with what? A touchpad,
No, you do a hand gesture,
a hand gesture,
and
Okay.
it basically, like sucks the keyboard in and puts a touchpad out.
So you say it sucks the keyboard like a French person? No,
like a Frenchman.
It's like yeah. It's
Sucks
called,
like a Frenchman.
It's called Auto Key Bow. Link in the boobity boo. But I don't think
Be
that's
happier than a Frenchman with a pair of self-removing trousers.
Wow, you're the one that said you ate your girlfriend for Christmas dinner.
Oh, my girlfriend. Yeah, no, it was my boyfriend. It was
Alrighty.
Fritz. His name was Fritz. He was delicious.
Was it Fritz?
His name was Fritz. Yeah. He was a lovely sheep, very friendly.
I
Put
bet
him.
he was.
Okay, and that should be a link to a YouTube short, just really quickly demonstrating how it does it. I just think it's so weird. Yeah,
Oh, it's
and
got
yes, I
AI
kind of.
sensing.
Of course,
Okay.
it does. Everything has AI.
AI
You can
sensing.
see
What the hell does that mean?
it.
Yeah, it's fun until you lose a finger.
Or just the battery goes out or the motor goes out and then it becomes a useless paperweight.
Okay, Dory, you should have my file. I've
I
just
see
uploaded it to you.
I see the
Let me know
link.
if there's any problems with it. And I will
Besides
head
the
off
fact
and
that
go and
you're
get
on
my
it?
guitar. Besides the fact that I'm on it, yeah. Might have to overdub me.
So do you know if it's already like completed the upload?
Yes, it should have already completed.
Okay. Very cool. Downloading now.
Cool. All right, mate.
Yeah, have fun, man.
Yeah, you too. Nice to see you guys.
Is it just a local music shop there, or what?
No, it's a local guy who's just selling instruments. So, yeah.
Does he
He's
make
just,
them?
no, I don't think so. No, he's just got a whole. He's a musician, I think. He's just got a whole bunch of stuff that he's collected over the years and is selling it. So
Oh,
I
nice.
jumped on it when I had the chance. All right, I better go. See you
All
guys.
right. See you later, man.
Yeah, and I don't know why, Josh. But this was the link I thought I put into my notes and I did not. This one is called IODE with an umlaut OS. And this one you can download and install on your local device. There's tiers though. There's a paid version of it somehow. But you can literally download the Linux installer, which is a tarball, and it will go through the process and like automatically sense your phone, do everything it needs to, root it and do everything and install the OS on it itself.
Oh, okay. That's for the.
Yeah, so this one looked really polished, is what I want to say. And this was another one that it looked to me like another GNOME Android thing. Yeah, powered by Lineage OS. So this is not a true Linux phone. That's why I'm going to guess I didn't bookmark it correctly. I don't know.
Did you have you looked at Obsidian anymore?
Um.
The note-taking app.
Oh hell no, text, man. Text is too hard. I mean,
Sounds like you
literally,
need to get to.
reading literally hurts. I mean, I like can't read more than like a sentence.
Sounds like you need to get some text support.
Yeah. But I mean, I do understand the idea, like the brainstorming and putting stuff down. And I really wish I could be better at that because, yeah, it would be beneficial. I gotta run to the bathroom. And this needs rebooting. So I'll reboot that and I'll come back. Yeah. There. Okay, I'll be back. I cannot believe how far back my preview in YouTube Studio is. Ivor's still in the chat. I cannot
How
believe
far
it's that.
back? What?
When I do a YouTube stream, I have my own studio view where I can see the number of connections, the chat, and like a preview of the video and stuff. And it's so far behind in lag. Ivor is still in the chat. It's ridiculous.
So you can see who's in the chat, huh?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I just see when they type stuff, and it
Oh,
tells me how many people are in there,
yeah,
are
I can see
watching.
how many are in there, but not who.
Well, that and it tells me like the chat rate. And of course, the whores want that incredibly high chat rate.
I gotta ask you, who's got better sound quality, Ivor or me?
Well, I mean, if I'm going to go for consistency, you all the way. Every now and then, I get a file from Ivor and it's pristine. I don't know how, and then sometimes it's just I got to spend like 20 minutes, you know, tweaking it. I mean, it's still painfully obvious he has Bluetooth connections going on and wireless connections going on
Oh yeah.
because his lag is always there. Oh, Oh my goodness. So how old is Sebastian now?
Solomon.
Yeah, Solomon. Sorry, I knew it was an S. Solomon. He's he like
6.
6. I was gonna say 5. Damn, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and he got his yellow stripe in Taekwondo.
Hmm. Very cool, man.
Yeah, baseball starting up again in March, I think.
Yeah, I mean, to me, keeping a kid physically active, if you can pull it off, man, that helps them so much later in life.
Oh yeah, he's a terrorist.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
And he's got his 2 friends that they're in his Taekwondo class. They do on Thursday mornings. They do forest school,
Hmm.
so they always end up over here after that, and just it's like a tornado comes through here.
So it's like food all of a sudden go missing and stuff.
Yeah, food, but they're just so loud, and they were outside all morning, and then they came and they're sledding on a little side hill we have,
Mm.
and when they got here, so then they had to come inside because I mean, it's fucking cold out.
That's a nice way to put it.
And yeah, and then they're just doing the same thing here, is running around like, yeah, and then I let my permanent residency card, it expired in like July, and I didn't find out about it until we were coming back from Hawaii, and I tried to get back in the country.
Oh my goodness.
That was pretty awesome.
Wow.
And so I just finally got around to doing that, and it's just mind numbing, man. Like just the filling out the forms, and the picture has to be just right, and even more so than that, I also, like, up here you have to have it's called a PAL, which is a possession and acquisition license for firearms.
Oh, gotcha.
And so in order to own them, transport them, touch them, well, you don't have to touch them. If someone else is with you and it has one, you can have it, but and so you have to get that renewed every 5 years. And so I did that today as well, and I go through the questions, and the questions are like, have you ever been depressed over the last 5 years, or like, have you thought about suicide, and just all this shit, man, in order to get a firearms license.
No words. That's ridiculous. And it's one of those things, I honestly get what they're trying to do, but being more intrusive is not going to help, because if the people really are, they're just going to lie.
Well, then it says, oh, do you live with somebody else? Do you have a wife, or like someone else you live with, and then they have to sign it as well.
Yeah, not cool.
Well, it's I mean, borderline fascism up here anyway. So
It seems like every government's goal is to slowly whittle away at all personal liberties in one shape, way, or form.
Well, that's the thing too, is that that's one of the things about the U.S. that the rest of the world just doesn't understand. Like the rest of the world thinks the U.S. is full of gun-toting crazy people that are just shooting everybody, but they don't understand that the Second Amendment is literally there to prevent tyrannical governments.
Well, and the stat that always gets thrown around is how the U.S. owns more guns than anybody else, and per capita more guns than anybody else. But what they fail to ever tell you is literally less than 10% of the people own a gun. It's 1% that has 100 guns, which makes that number phenomenal.
But you know what? It's also, I mean, that's that's good. Like you have to have a society that when
Well,
you look at most of the genocides that have taken place
hmm
throughout history, and the first thing they do is disarm the citizens,
hmm
and then you go through and destroy them. I mean, that's
yeah. To a degree, I'm very okay with the government fearing its own people.
absolutely they should fear the people because the
hmm
people. That's the thing. Like, oh, he's an elected leader. No, he's not. He's a representative, and the people in Congress and Senate and everyone else, they're representatives. They're supposed to be representing. They're not leaders.
Right.
You don't vote for leaders. You vote for people that are going to represent your interests in a national government that's way bigger than it should be anyway because
Sure.
he's take and if you don't stop it, no government has ever shrunk on its own like they.
Well, there's only one, and I don't know what the right word is. I'm going to say agency. There's only one agency in the history of the U.S. government that actually the government closed down and got rid of. And I've never met anybody in my life who knows about it because they all swear, oh, no, there's been more than that. No, no, no. There's only been one thing that's ever existed that they turned down. Now, don't get me wrong, stuff has changed names. Like the Department of War is now not known as the Department of War. It's the
Yeah,
DOD, Department of Defense.
yeah,
But
exactly,
yeah,
it sounds much better.
right. Well, yeah, they make it sound much more safer than it is. There's only one thing that's ever been closed and actually shut down and ended, and that was I can't remember the name of it, but it's basically back in the day, the post office also acted kind of like a bank, and it's because banks didn't really exist, kind of thing, and so you could put your money in there, and it would basically be there when you needed it, or you could pull it out, kind of thing. And that was the only thing that the U.S. government has ever actually department that actually closed, and it's because it became irrelevant, completely irrelevant, and people just stopped using it, so they had no reason to exist anymore.
Well, the government, what they should do is um, take a page out of Google's book. Just start shutting shit down.
Dude, I one thing I wish was no matter what happened in the government, I wish it came with a mandatory review process of is this doing what we thought it did? Do we still need this thing? Kind of thing. And of course, I want more transparency.
Well, yeah, and it's that, and that's what apparently the Trump and Elon Musk are trying to do. They're like auditing these agencies that haven't been audited in 50 years, and people are just flipping their lids. And like, what do you not want transparency? Do you not want to see what taxpayers' money is going towards? Do you need to support like trans midgets in the Himalayas doing circus acts or whatever other type of nonsense is being supported? And but people just apparently don't want to. I don't know.
Oh,
Just want to keep your head buried in the sand, or you don't like who's doing it, or
right. Right.
what it
They
is.
they don't like him, period. And I understand the guy's autistic, okay? He's not gonna be normal. He's not gonna be, charismatic. He's not. Um, but I'll say the only thing that he actually and his team actually has access to is just expenditure reports, like what they're spending money on, nothing else. Um, which means they're really only getting like one little view on things. But some, all I ever want is less spending. And you can talk about people talk about like tax cuts and stuff, and yeah, they're great too. But if you don't first cut the spending, you can't have tax cuts. And I know, like, there's been
The
nothing in
tariffs.
existence I ever heard of where if a government takes it over, it actually costs less money. It always costs more money when the government takes over anything. I think, and like my two relatives, three, who are teachers, literally didn't know that the Department of Education did not exist before I want to say 1979. It might be 1977. And they didn't believe me. They're like, no way. I'm like, yes, when you went to school, kind of thing, there was no Department of Education federal. Everything was just done by the state. And you came out fine. So,
Oh yeah, no, I'm all for, like, he's talking about um, defunding the Department of Education. I'm all for it. Like, if you look at the
well,
people
look
that
at the
are being,
results.
yeah, exactly. And a system is not what you say it is. A system is what it does. That's
Exactly.
what it
Thank you.
is.
What
Like,
it
and
becomes. Yeah.
so
One of my channels, reason, they once in a while put out a video called unintended consequences. Like in India, when they had too many cobras, too many people dying from cobras, they said, okay, well, what we'll do is we will pay people to bring in cobras. And for every like cobra head you bring in or something, we'll give you like $5. So what happened? People started cobra farms where they were raising cobras just to get the money to sell, just to sell the money back to the government. And then when the government found out about it, they stopped the program. So what did all the cobra farmers do? They let their cobras go, which made deaths even more skyrocket. It's like, dude, government, man, get out of my way. Get out of my way.
yeah, exactly, Red. And that's just one small element. I mean, it's
Right.
a probably a fairly big element, but yeah, the USAID does not. It doesn't probably even need to exist. Like, it's
Well, I heard only one person give an actual like reason, I'll say, for its existence, and that was um to basically once in a while slip a CIA guy in to a country or to an area where they're not wanted, but to be perceived as this kind of like aid thing and be able to like try to do some like oh god, what's it called?
espionage.
Yeah, but there's a specific name for it because my cousin used to do it, where he would go into the country as a representative, threaten them, say, well, we need this, and the country would say no. Then we'll say, okay, well, then this is going to happen, and then they
Yeah,
would leave the
yeah, the
country.
economic hitman.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what he used to do. To where those CIA people that they supposedly put in because of the USA aid pathway are able to do that thing much more easier. And that alone makes me think, huh, well, then I don't want it.
Yeah.
I don't want it. Yeah, I mean, the FBI is bad enough. I'm so happy I don't have to deal with the CIA. Because talk about ignoring all kinds of civil rights and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, yeah.
Oh. So last I heard, your wife had some stuff. She doing better?
Yeah, yeah, still trying to figure out what exactly. So she's been doing this other, like, ocular therapy and
Mm-hmm.
all sorts of different things to try to figure out and fix anything that's wrong. Now we're looking more at, maybe trying some supplements and
Mm-hmm.
just whatever. Like,
Yeah.
trying to go outside of, the mainstream healthcare.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things about medicine that I don't know how long it's going to take them to like really do is individual personalized medicine because everybody is uniquely different in a way. And when things happen to people, sometimes they don't fit in a nice category and box. So, you know, it's like you have to spend so much time nearly fighting them to like try to find out the actual stuff that's going on.
Well, yeah, but that's another thing that should be torn down is just the healthcare system as it stands. Like, ever since, I think that was in the 30s, there were no medical schools or anything before that, and it was perfectly fine. Like, you didn't, medical schools were were funded by, I think, the Rockefellers. Was it Rockefellers? Um,
I know they helped.
yeah, and it was basically just to start pushing pharmaceuticals. And so you don't even learn about nutrition in medical school. You know, they talk to some doctors and they'll think, yeah, we did maybe a week, 2 weeks on nutrition, and the whole time that they go to med school, and the rest of it is trying to diagnose and prescribe
Yeah.
drugs, basically.
I want to say it's almost like I want to say it was Eisenhower. I can't remember who first said, at least I know of publicly, the military industrial complex. Well, now it's 2025, and we literally have a health industrial complex, a tech industrial complex. We have all these different things that basically figured out how to take advantage of the government's things to make our corporate businesses trillionaires. And we're the only focus is, can we make money?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep, and that's the thing. Like that's where most of all the issues come from. Is I would say, like a broken monetary system, but it's not. A system is what it does, and it's working exactly like it's supposed to, exactly like how it was made. And so that, like, one of the two things that I think I would like to see the most happen would be the elimination of the Department of Education and an abolishment of the Federal Reserve. And yeah, I know it's going to be a shit show for quite a while, but
It already is.
yeah, well, exactly. It already is, and it's only getting worse. Like you were talking about the snake, just cut the head off it and see what happens.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Um, Once you get people involved with things, bad things happen. They figure out how to take advantage of stuff and manipulate things so they get what they want without worrying about what the actual original intention was. Yeah. That's why I'm a huge fan of transparency in general, just period. Like one of the best things I've ever heard was when cops were forced to put on cameras on their thing. So, yeah, they had no choice but to either be transparent or turn your camera off, and people know you turn your camera off and commit crimes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's
Right?
some people that say that schools, the classroom, should have cameras too.
Oh, I'm not going to argue that at all.
Yeah.
And honestly, if I'm a teacher, I would want a camera in the room to protect me from a kid that might overreact or, just do something stupid, whatever. Same thing. Like when I hear cops who don't like the idea of body cams, I mean, some of them are just old, but I want that thing in front of me to show that I am doing the right thing and the people in front of me are lying, kind of thing. Um, yeah, I don't know if I told you about my dad. When he was a Baltimore City cop, he got charged with and had to go to court for like 3 months with someone claiming he was committing police brutality against them, and it was a college professor and his wife who never had anything against them, and seemed incredibly credible. So took my dad to court, and it was like 3 months into court where finally the Baltimore Science Center or the Maryland Science Center revealed footage that showed my dad simply asking them to move their car and them getting out of the car and trying to beat the shit out of my dad until it finally, oh, well, turns out they're lying, kind of thing, where a body cam would have just, never would have made a court thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and I truly believe so many problems in the world can easily be fixed with just transparency. Because if you're, and I hate to say it like this, but if you're transparent, then there's nothing to hide. I mean, now when it comes to personal privacy, that's different. You know what I mean? But when it comes to organization and government, no, you need to be more transparent, man. Especially companies.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch people's their minds are just broken now.
Yeah, and I will say my mother-in-law is extremely on one side of the aisle, not on the Trump side of the aisle, and she did say something that at least made sense. And that was the main thing she's worried about when it comes to government efficiency and cutting things out, because she's a social security, Medicaid person, is she's afraid what if they cut out good things to save money, which I didn't think of because there's so few of them. Um, so yeah, I mean, I don't think they should cut spending just for cutting spending's sake, but actually evaluate. But yes, like you said, like I don't care about someone in a village in the mountain range who claims to be whatever. You know what I mean? Um, that's not worth us spending money on. But yeah, we are so rich, man. Oh my god. That's why universal basic income. I mean, the first country I think it has to come to is this country, just because we have too much damn money. We have so much money. It's like we can create any government thing and just throw money at it.
Well, yeah, but that's the problem.
Yeah.
This is the problem. So yeah, that's where the Federal Reserve and the printing of money and just being the root of all evil today.
Well, that's not what Jesus Christ actually said. Money is not the root of all evil.
No, that's what Pink Floyd said.
Greed is the root of all evil.
Money,
because,
so they say.
Because no matter what, we're going to have some kind of thing that we exchange with each other with the term of money, whether it's Bitcoin or anything else. It's greed that causes a lot of things. And that's one of those things I kind of agree with, but thankfully, I don't have to deal with a lot of them people except for when I go to work.
Well, thankfully, I don't have to deal with a lot of money either, so it works out.
Man, my wife is at a car dealership, and right now, every car, anything in America is having such a hard time because, and I try to explain it to her. One of the reasons that it's so bad right now is because how Obama invented cash for clunkers, which just encouraged people to not keep a car even like 5 years. Just get rid of all your cars, buy a new car, get rid of your car, buy a new car. We'll give you money. We'll give you money. We'll give you money. So the entire country became very used to not owning a car more than like 5 years, like literally. And I work at the place where I can look at it and see the average age of a car in my state is 4 years old.
Wow.
But a year ago it was 3 years old. And it's just going to keep getting longer and longer because people figured out I don't need a car that so often. So now all the car industry is not getting the amount of money it used to get, is the way I'll put it. Everything is like suffering, of course, except for Tesla dealerships. Go figure. Oh, do you know what I didn't know? Tesla, one of the ways it was making a lot of money was the entire industry was given EV credits.
Yeah.
Like Ford, GM, Chrysler. Okay. And one of the ways Tesla was making money was Ford, GM, Chrysler, everybody could not cash in those credits. But they were then selling those credits to Tesla at a loss. So then Tesla could take that credit, only pay $500 and get $2,000 worth of money from the federal government. That was one of the ways Tesla was able to just rake in money like insanely to where now Tesla is so financially stable. They're like, okay, let's now get rid of all like EV bonuses, credits, or whatever, because right now no one can catch up in the U.S. to what they're doing. Ooh.
Yeah, crazy. Well, any of these credits, like, oh, you're getting a carbon credit or whatever else,
Mhm.
and you have to buy it, and like, cool,
Complete
thanks. Yeah,
BS.
yeah, my giving you money is going to save the environment. It's
Right.
like, to me, it's like going on an airplane and like, oh, you have to have you can only take this much luggage because it's not safe, right? Whatever.
Right.
And then you're over. Oh, give us $70 and we'll put it on.
Yep.
Oh,
Money
okay.
fixes everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even like Penn and Teller BS, that show, which is also on my Plex server, I want to say it was 2004, where they went over carbon credits and how it's just shuffling money, fixing nothing, doing nothing, just shuffling money around. And those who know how the shuffle can happen can make insane money for doing nothing. Yeah. I mean, whenever government gets involved, oh God. Yeah. Just make a better
Yeah.
product, let people know how it's a better product, and people will happily. Nobody wants to die. You know what I mean? Just make money, which is why, like, in US, the number one highest rate of solar panels per household. I would like ask you to make a guess, and no matter what, you're going to be wrong. Like the first 48 choices you make, because the highest percentage of solar panels installed is Vermont, and Vermont will never make its money back from solar generation because it's Vermont. But government subsidies made it so it happened. Um, the number one place making money off of solar, though, is Texas. And Texas, that's the oil state. You know what I mean? That's the place where Republicans reign. Why would they have solar panels? Because it makes them money. As long as it makes
Yep.
people money, they'll jump into it.
Well, I think that even now, like Qatar and
Mhm.
Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates and those
Thing.
places have tons of solar panels too.
Oh my God. That and Northern Africa. They went solar crazy, which is good because, but yeah, like one of the fastest growing countries, literally in the history of the world, Nigeria. They're going crazy boom. Where like the average family, I want to say, has 6 kids, which is well above the average of the world. Um, and the amount of money coming into that country is almost nuts. To where like in 15, 20 years, they will be a definite economic influencer, is the way I'll put it.
I think they have a pretty strong Bitcoin community there too.
Wouldn't shock me. You know why? Oh man, there's a great little movie. It's on my Plex server. Um, I'm gonna assume you know the name Jonathan Haidt, and I don't know if I'm saying it right.
No, I don't. I don't know.
He is a guy that firmly believes that social media is killing everybody and it's causing the like suicide rates to skyrocket and college campuses to become places where you can't talk freely kind of thing. Um I'm not going to say he's wrong, but I will say he's extreme in how he puts his views, which offends a lot of people. But there's a movie on my Plex server, Coddling of the American Mind. And it's at least a couple years old, but one of the people, most of the people in the movie are college students. They're not like old people telling you what to think. And one of the college students is from Nigeria. And he said, I don't understand American politics. I don't understand left and right. I don't understand conservative and liberal because where I come from, everybody in the government is just corrupt. And the only question is, who are you corrupt to? And that's how Nigerian government is. It's just
Mm.
completely corrupt. The only question is, are you taking money from A or B?
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. That's with all governments, and
Mhm.
that's where like you get the was it Yuri? What's his name?
I know you're
That
talking about.
Russian.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, and he said like the only difference between the Soviet Union and the United States is that the Soviet Union knows they're being lied to,
Yep.
right? Like they
Oh,
they understand the game.
all right. The Soviet people understand the government is always lying to them. Americans don't understand businesses are always lying to them. Yeah. Yuri like Strovnikov. I can't pronounce it.
Yuri Bezmenov,
Yeah, I can't pronounce it.
something like that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I've heard him give a couple talks, and I'm surprised he isn't killed yet.
Is he still alive? I don't even know. I don't
Huh.
even know how old he is.
Well, I want to say like the 80s, late 80s, and he didn't seem too old then.
Looks like he died in 1993.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah, 1939 to 1993.
39. Wow, he was a lot older than I thought. So yeah, he was 60 something in the 80s. See, I thought he was like 40s. Well, my
right.
judgment on age is completely off. Yeah, so right now I'm trying to take off as little work as possible and save up as much leave as possible because I'm pretty sure I need my vertebrae. Vertebrae? Can't even say it right. I'm pretty sure I need a couple discs in my neck fused.
Oh shit, man.
Yeah, because like the pain literally never stops. I wake up in like
All right,
3 seconds.
before you do that, let's sort something out. At least talk to Sandra.
Okay, but it's damaged vertebrae. I mean, I've seen X-ray and I know when it happened.
Yeah, that's fine, but still, like, just at least have a chat
Mm-hmm.
and look at stem cells too.
Mm-hmm.
That might be something that is. She actually is having a consultation with a guy down in California.
Yeah, I know for a fact the correct stem cell treatment could literally regrow it and make it to where it's not as messed up as it is. Um, one of the most fascinating stem cell things I saw was because like the historical thing was like with teeth, once you lose the dentin on the outside of your tooth, there's never a chance to regrow it. You're done. They've literally figured out how to take stem cells and literally regrow teeth to where you have a cavity and it can literally do what people deemed impossible like 8 years ago. So yeah. Oh yeah. If I can find somebody doing the correct
And
stem
that's
cell
better.
thing.
I think that's probably better than fusing your neck together.
Oh my God. There's nothing good that comes to fusing your neck except slight lessening in pain. You lose a lot of movement, a lot of flexibility. And what I also learned was once your neck is fused, if you don't, treat it like a fragile porcelain teacup, you're going to need more fusion surgery. So like if you have fusion surgery and even like if you're in a car accident and it ends up you moving the wrong way, well, you need to get more fusion surgery.
Yeah, and they're cutting into your neck, dude. That can't be good. I'll find the name of this guy.
Okay. Well, I can tell you it's going to take me at least 5 to 6 months to accrue enough time in my bank to even think about it. Because I know no matter what, to get this treated, it's going to require me to take off at least like 6 weeks and not move a lot to let shit heal right.
Cool. All right, I gotta get going.
All right, man. It was really good to see you. Your beard is looking fantastic, by the way. And I do absolutely love, I ain't gonna lie, dude. I get giddy when I refresh my RSS feed and I see a new episode.
Yeah, I've been trying to sit down. It's been a while.
I understand.
Yeah. Um. Oh, and if you're the P Cloud is 50% off right now. If you're looking for
Gotcha.
if you're looking for storage, it's the cheapest I've seen it.
Not gonna lie, it's tempting.
It's been good, man. I'm shocked at like because I've had it for now what probably 5 years,
I was gonna say at least 3 or 4,
and they're developing constantly, and
and it works. I mean, when
and
you
it
send me a
works,
link, it
man.
works.
Yeah, it works, and it backs up your phone. Like you can back up your computer, your
Hmm.
phone. Like I mean, it's a drive, is what it is. So just if you're interested, it's
I am, but I also got to buy my wife something for Valentine's Day.
yeah, it's $279 for 2 terabytes.
It is really hard to beat that price. Jeez, man.
Yeah, usually I mean it says it's 5.99 usually, but it's always 3.99, and then it's 2.79 now. Oh,
Gotcha. All right. Well, I'm gonna kill the stream and try to get some sleep before my eye appointment, to where they're gonna blast my eye with air and put I said dilution, dilation.
yeah, dilate. He
Yeah,
said dilution. I
I
think so.
know,
I don't
man.
know.
It was off. I knew that. They're gonna put that crap in my eyes. It's gonna make driving really hard.
Oh yeah, don't do it. Last time I had my eyes dilated, somebody stole my bike.
Oh my goodness, that's not good.
It was
Wow.
in Vancouver. That was when we lived up north still, and
Mm,
we came down for some reason. And I went to a mall to go to the optometrist,
mm.
and rode my bike there, locked it up outside, and went. And they uh, dilated my eyes. And then as I tried to go outside, like, geez, I
Yeah.
can't even go
Oh, it
outside.
hurts.
And so just walked around, did laps around this mall, and then finally my eyes were undiluted. And, and I went out to find my bike. Like, oh, it's not here. I must have put it somewhere else. And I started walking around the outside. And then eventually I was running, like, Jesus, where is it? Went to every bike rack, and somebody jacked it.
I'll blame a dirty American. Oh man, that was a really good episode. Oh man, what was it? I want to say it was Darknet Diaries, where the guy infiltrated a bike stealing ring. Where the
Yeah, yep,
Oh
I
my
heard that one.
goodness, that was insane. Because I know how
Yeah,
much bikes
that
can
was a good
cost.
one.
Bikes can literally cost easy like 3 to 5 thousand.
Yeah, red dilate. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that was good. Some of his episodes lately I haven't really been too keen on.
I know. They're like
Um,
really hard to listen to sometimes.
yeah, and everybody like it seems like I don't know what company it is. I can't remember what it's called, but whatever it is that people are joining, and there's just so many more ads now too. Like 3 ads a show in a lot of them.
Yeah. That's why, honestly, I'm almost enjoying YouTube more, just because I have sponsor block add on where I need that in my podcast. And I've literally emailed, I can't remember his name now, Podcast Addict, like 5 times, man. Offer, ad, skipping. I will happily pay you money.
Yeah,
Because and I
Guillermo.
can tell you right now, yeah, Camaro, yeah. But it's so easy with the algorithm to point out with this show, with the ad, there's always background music. Easy to identify. Get rid of it. Or like the
Yeah,
voice just changes so much. It has to be an ad. Get rid of it.
yeah. Though he makes a great product, but he's. I mean, the one thing that I would like the most is to be able to boost from
Huh,
it, and
yeah,
like that would be because I'm using it now. I tried Fountain for a while, but it only goes up to what 2.5x or something or
you're right.
2x, and it's just glitchy. Like it's it's just not as good of a podcast player. You know, like it's good
Right.
for what it does. It's cool that it connects to Noster and that you
Right.
can boost from it and things like that.
I know,
But
but
I mean, Podcast
Podcast Addict,
Addicts is just a perfect.
it should
It's
have had it
amazing.
2 years ago.
Oh, I
He
sent him.
should.
I sent him messages about it, and
Yeah,
he was just like, "No, there's no desire for it, or something like that." Like,
I know.
okay, whatever,
That
man.
that's what he said to me about 5x going above 5x to where now he goes where he goes above 5x and even YouTube Premium. Now, if you go to YouTube, you can only go up to 2x natively. YouTube Premium, you can go up to 4x.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so they're
Well, we
so
have premium now too. I finally gave in and got that
I
because
understand, man.
we started. Well, we never watched YouTube before, and then just started watching it more and more. And like the goddamn apps.
Dude,
We watched it before, like a couple days ago,
mm,
without it on there, and it's just unwatchable. It's
yeah,
worse than TV.
exactly. Yep. And the sad thing is there's some really good stuff to watch on YouTube. You just got to look for it. Mm.
Oh,
All right, man.
God
I'm going to
damn
kill
it.
the feed and
Swift, I
say,
was trying to get off of here, but let me just. This is what. Oh, that's the wrong. I just bailed on YouTube. Why doesn't YouTube? Can you set it to where you click on a YouTube link or a link in the chat and it opens a new tab?
I wish it was.
Like what the hell, man? So this is what I've been using this door, which is called. I wanted to bring it tonight, but I was a little baby and had to leave.
Mm.
But it's ppq.ai.
Mm.
It's pay per queue, and so you can choose at the. I don't know if you're on it or not. You can choose at the top. You can choose your language model,
Mm.
and then you can choose your image model and
Oh,
video
man. Yeah.
model.
Uh-huh. Yeah. This
Uh,
is good.
Yep, and you just add money to it. Like I've just been adding from a Lightning wallet,
Wow.
um, and so yeah, what did it say? I spent like $1.17 in the last 30 days, or something
Right.
like that.
Right.
And so,
Well, thanks to Deep Seek,
seek,
prices are going to plummet. And
but they're losing money already, though. Like they're
no,
losing money.
no.
Yeah,
But you got to,
OpenAI is.
I know, but you got to remember, dropping prices. All it means is now it's going to be more of a democratization to where more people are going to be able to offer you things at a reasonable price. And I will say, one of the guys I listened to said, what people don't understand is when it comes to AI, not everything needs to be perfect. If I'm just asking AI to give me a suggestion when I say I like this Beatles song, it doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be good. Now if I'm a doctor doing surgery, I need that AI to be perfect. So because of this deep seek things, we're going to be able to like rationally limit some of the AI because some of the AI we don't need to be 100% accurate. You know what I mean? If I'm asking how to make a blueberry pie, it can be a little bit off and still taste completely fine.
Oh yeah, but it's just the amount of money it costs to run. I mean the amount of processing power that these things go through.
I know.
So maybe OpenSeek will change that, but who knows?
I know, but this is a really good interface. I've never seen one that literally goes through all these choices and lets you basically pick what it was, and it gives you little tips, cheap and uncensored, best open source. Cool.
Which one are you looking at?
Your PPQ.
Oh, PPQ, yeah.
I've never seen one that gives you this amount of options to which one you're using.
Yeah, and then it says you can get an API key too, so that's
Oh
pretty
yeah,
cool.
which means you can pound on it. Very cool.
Oh, invite or get a gift here. I'll give you my.
No man, don't give me any, man.
What's that?
Don't give me any money.
No, I'm not gonna give you shit. I'm gonna
Good.
give you my invite link. Apparently, you can get a referral on this too.
Huh. That's cool.
How that works, I don't know. But where in the hell? Here, I'll put it in this chat in YouTube. If you do use it,
Gotcha. Got it. Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of thing I don't use any AI because I literally just want to wait for things to settle down, kind of thing. But this is the kind of choices I didn't think was going to be available for a while.
man, I use it a lot just for search. Like
Mhm.
you were talking
Right.
about, I've looked for the pork hock that I said I cooked. I just oh, give me a pork hock recipe.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing where I truly believe it's going to be utilized ridiculously is just for generalized search. Because I don't want a link, I want an answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, exactly, and that's what it does. It's just concise and
Right.
to the point. I haven't done much with the. Oh, actually, I did some images. With the, I tried to make some videos, which didn't work out at all. But
Mm.
I probably don't know what I'm doing.
Well,
Now this
there's
is
a
funny.
there's a reason why prompt engineers get paid $200,000 a year. You got to know
Yeah,
how to
well, you
finagle
know
them.
what you do. I think what you do is you use the AI to generate the prompt,
That's what one guy did. Yep.
right?
He was using one AI to generate the prompt to put into, oh man, the one picture video one that was really popular. Can't remember. Because yeah, because he said I can figure it out, but it takes me like 30 40 minutes to figure out all the little things where I put into here and it just gives me the right prompt to put in.
My dad just sent me a meme.
Hmm.
Um, why do astronauts use Linux?
Because there's no windows.
Because you can't open Windows in
Can't
space
open windows. Damn it. I knew it something like that.
or anywhere else for that matter.
Yeah, true. All right, I gotta reboot this rig.
All right, man, I gotta go.
All right.
Did you get the? You got the link?
I got it
Put it.
and I already backed it up.
Okay, cool.
And I
Well,
got the other link and I got that back up too.
in 4 months when you need it again, let me know.
Hopefully less than that. But yes.
You're on a roll there. I saw there's a couple that came out and
Dude, I
in
took
a
some
couple
extra.
days.
I took another dose of the amphetamines that I'm not supposed to take, and I got a lot of crap done.
Nice. Oh, I enjoy listening to them when they come out.
Hmm. I like it because it's brand new because I forgot everything by then.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, brother, man.
All right, take it
Love
easy.
you, man. Take it easy.
Take it easy, Red and Swift.
Yeah, you guys. Love you guys too. Oh yeah, and then Saturn and Solomon said hi, Door.
Awesome,
I was supposed to tell you hi.
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Take it easy. Hopefully we'll do this again soon.
Oh yeah.